When confronted, one victim was killed, two injured. They are both detainees at that ICE detention center there in Dallas, Texas. All right, rain is expected by the time you make your way home this afternoon and evening. Highs around 90. Will the rain hang around for the weekend? WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards will have Atlanta Radio's only 5-day forecast coming up at 12:05. In Cobb County, police investigating after a 9-month-old child is shot and killed. It happened at a motel near Truist Park. Police were called to the Budgetel Inn on Circle 75 Parkway. A woman saying her baby girl had been struck by gunfire. That little girl was pronounced dead at the scene. Police asking anybody with information to give them a call. A Norcross mother has pleaded guilty to murder in connection with the death of her 8-year-old daughter, whose body was found in woods in DeKalb County.
Brittany Nicole Hall and her girlfriend Celeste Owens reported Amari Hall missing in November of 2021. But investigators determined that Hall and Owens were not telling the truth about the child going missing and were able to find evidence of abuse of the other 2 children living with them as well. They found web searches on Owens' phone that included lakes near me and how do sewers on the streets work. Hall pleaded guilty to murder in the death of her daughter. Her partner was sentenced in December to life plus 235 years. Lisa Nicholas, 95.5 WSB.
The state rests in the Fulton County trial of an alleged gang member accused of shooting and killing an 8-year-old girl inside her mother's Jeep during protest in the summer of 2020.
Julian Conley's prosecution rested after jurors heard from a gang expert who says things from Conley's clothing to his Instagram show his membership in the Piru Bloods. Defense attorney Sean Hoover asks the judge to dismiss the gang counts.
This was a stupid kid that was posting stupid stuff on social media.
Fulton County Executive DA Adam Abadi argues even if the jury believes Conley is not the one who shot Sequoia Turner,
is irrelevant as it relates to parties to a crime.
The defense begins its case next. Veronica Waters, 95.5 WSB.
This is new here at noon. We are now hearing from a 75-year-old man who was attacked by pit bulls in his Clayton County neighborhood. Paul Jordan telling us.
The owner came out and called him off, but I ended up getting 6 stitches in my ear, and I have bruises on my cheek and some bruises on my back and my 2 elbows.
Now, according to neighbors in the Lake Forest subdivision, this is not the first time these dogs have attacked. It's happened at least 3 other times, according to the homeowners. They say that they already have a leash law in place, but they want to do more to add restrictions to the neighborhood bylaws, maybe including limiting the number of dogs per home. A special election is set for November 18th to replace State Senator Jason Estevez, who's running for governor. Qualifying for the District 35 race begins next Monday. Early in-person voting will begin on Monday, October 27th. If a runoff is needed to settle the race, that's going to be held on December 16th. Georgia is named the #1 state in the nation to do business by Area Development Magazine. It's the 12th year in a row that Georgia's gotten that honor. Governor Kemp saying today, quote, "It's a reflection of the sustained commitment that we have to excellence and a team approach to economic development." The Atlanta Beltline accepting applications beginning today for a new program aimed at helping small businesses.
In order to qualify for a grant, a developer has to agree to dedicate a portion of their commercial space for a small business at below market rent for at least 10 years. The Beltline's Kelvin Collins says,
"We believe it's important to complement housing affordability, commercial affordability, and to ensure that small businesses can exist around the Beltline and deliver the much needed services."
The grants range from $150,000 to $500,000, and there is $2 million in the fund. They hope to have the money distributed by early next year. Jonathan O'Brien, 95.5 WSB.
The O'Hearn House is a century-old building in the Sweet Auburn district. It was once a shoe factory, but today it serves 76 previously homeless individuals dealing with substance abuse and other issues.
We had individuals living there diagnosed with mental illness and were formerly homeless. And we were able to secure a grant from the Governor's Office of Planning and Budget to do a rehab on the building.
Scott Walker says the $5.4 million state grant will allow them to upgrade the living spaces, offices for support staff, and the on-site kitchen. Work will get underway today, and they say it's going to last for about 10 months. An apartment complex in Stone Mountain will be where the residents will go until they return to that home there, the O'Hearn House, come next fall. All right, we told you back in July that Johns Creek Mayor John Bradbury had officially requested the city get its own zip code.
Johns Creek is divided up into, basically 5 different cities have zip codes in Johns Creek, and none of those say Johns Creek.
Now, the plan was to get a unique zip code, but that appeared to be a huge hurdle. So instead, the city decided to ask for the zip +4 change. So that was approved. And so starting in October or November, all city residents and businesses can list Johns Creek on their addresses by adding 4 extra numbers to your current zip code. As we take a look at the markets, the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P are all in the red. All right, let's turn to the traffic center now. Alex Williams has a look at your roads.
Hey, Sabrina. Right now, we're watching the brake lights continue to fill in between Marietta and Kennesaw due to that daily daily right lane construction on 75 northbound at Chastain Road, exit 271. Might want to think about Highway 41, Cobb Parkway as an alternate. Rolling left lane roadwork making its way through Tucker toward Doraville. 285 northbound, the outer loop right now. They're right at I-85, exit number 33. That's causing brake lights back into Clarkston. And if you're traveling out toward Lithonia, heads up for left lane construction, 20 eastbound just past Panola Road, exit 71. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
The 5-day forecast is sponsored by Shoemate, the official plumber of Atlanta.
Clouds moving in through the course of this afternoon, still heating up to a high of 90. Scattered rain showers and thunderstorms developing during the ride home this evening. Overnight lows in the low 70s with rain showers continuing through tomorrow morning. Cloudy skies for tomorrow afternoon with scattered rain showers and thunderstorms, high 79. The rain moving out by Friday morning, drying out Friday afternoon, highs in the upper 70s. Saturday and Sunday, partly cloudy skies, morning lows in the mid 60s. Afternoon highs in the low 80s.
More news at 12:30. Breaking news when it happens. 95.5 WSB.
Okay, friends, 5K Day bonus blitz. Your noon keyword is cake. C-A-K-E, cake. Enter the keyword cake into the WSB Radio app or online at WSBradio.com/cash. You have until 12:30 p.m. to enter the keyword. Win $1,000. The keyword is cake. C-A-K-E. Good luck.
My son texted me on break from school this morning and said the boys have started calling each other Tylenol Americans instead of autistic when they do something dumb. That's how that news is playing out. Goodness gracious. Welcome, it's Eric Erickson here. Let's get to the news before anything else. We have a shooting at an ICE facility in Texas. And I want to play for you the flow of the news here so that you get a sense of it. And I want to start with John Miller. Now, this happened as word broke. Kristi Noem announced the shooting this morning on social media, and all the news networks began to break into it. John Miller is CNN's national security correspondent. He's got really good sources, and this is before the press conference, and there's a reason I want to play this one for you.
All right, I want to bring in John Miller, our chief law enforcement and intelligence analyst. John, what are you learning from your sources about this?
Well, it's very fluid, and as Chief Ramsey pointed out, they are sorting through who is this gunman, what is the identity, what is the background, what are the messages connected with this shooting, and that is something we may learn in the course of the press conference in terms of messages. But where we are right this minute is, as Chief Ramsey framed it, we don't know whether this was an anti-migrant shooting because of the victimology who was struck, or whether this is an anti-ICE shooting. And the governor's statements about assassination suggest he has some information that we don't have yet, and that may not be entirely clear to authorities. So the press conference is going to be very pivotal.
Press conference is going to be very pivotal. That was John Miller. And notice he did say victimology because ICE agents have been shot, a couple critically wounded, but it was actually an illegal immigrant who was killed. And so there was a divide before the press conference. It was this, for example, someone suggested it might have been a cartel attack on this illegal immigrant, the illegal immigrant being killed. And the ICE agents wounded. It could have been an anti-illegal immigrant situation. It could have been a cartel situation. We didn't know at the time. John Miller, I want to defend him here because some people are using this clip to attack him, claiming that we don't know motive. Well, that was before the press conference. We now know the motive from the press conference. This is Homeland Security speaking at the press conference about what the evidence is so far.
Violence. It is unfortunately just the most recent example we've seen of targeted violence, to include here in North Texas, where back on July 4th, we saw a coordinated attack carried out against an immigration detention center in Alvarado, Texas. What I can also share with you is that early evidence that we've seen from rounds that were found near the suspected shooter contain messages that are anti-ICE in nature. Again, this is just the most recent example of this type of attack. This will be a whole of government response. There will be no resource not utilized to bring all those individuals who are responsible to bring them to justice and to hold them accountable. While we're not releasing identities of any victims at this time, what I can confirm for you is no.
Kash Patel, who y'all, God bless him. I still think that he needs to stop trying to be the tweeter in chief. Kash Patel has already tweeted out the picture of the rounds, and the bullet actually has written on it Anti-ICE. Anti-ICE. Antiice. Anti-ICE. I wish the director of the FBI would let the local FBI and Homeland Security officials be the ones to do this instead of trying to be the tweeter in chief. But we do have that picture. The shooter did write that. He, by the way, committed suicide. The shooter did. I was telling my team I needed to say something that will be taken, I think, as controversial. And I don't know how to say it, but I think it needs to be said. And there could be blowback on me for saying it. And I'm just going to say it. Y'all bear with me. Buckle up. With the exception of Tyler Robinson, who grew up in a police MAGA household with lots of guns, you can tell that these progressive shooters are bad shots. And they don't know what to. I mean, it was a tragedy what happened in Minnesota. The trans activist sealed kids into a church and could only get 3 of them dead. I mean, there were others wounded, but only killed 3 of them. It could have been a lot worse. Could have been a lot worse. In New Hampshire, the Free Palestine activist was able to kill 1 person, wound 2. Could have been a lot worse. He got hit in the head with a chair by someone in the country club. This guy was trying to kill the ICE agents and killed the illegal immigrant instead. I mean, all the deaths are tragedies, but it could be a whole lot worse were it not anti-gun progressives doing the shooting. Look at the ABC station out west. There was an anti-gun activist who opened fire on the ABC station. No one wounded or killed, thankfully. Just shot the place up, missed everybody. I at least, if there is one silver lining in all of the horror, and there's so much horror, it's that progressive anti-gun terrorists aren't great with guns. And the death toll could be a whole lot higher. It's still too high. It is way too high. We continue to see this progressive violence and deaths, but this guy today, based on the initial reporting now, we know he was targeting the ICE agents and wound up killing the immigrant. It could be a lot worse if they had target practice. God have mercy on all the souls of the dead. We are dealing with something outrageous in this country. And by the way, you should know there's polling out from Reuters. Republicans lead Democrats on the question of who is best able to deal with political violence in the country. Not a coincidence. Literally, The Atlantic today is finally running a piece about how left-wing violence is on the rise in this country. And they cast it as, for the last 2 decades, right-wing violence is on the rise, and suddenly it's now left-wing violence on the rise. Well, they mischaracterized a lot of instances to classify them as right-wing when they weren't, to be able to get there. But the fact that The Atlantic is now having to tell progressives that actually left-wing violence is soaring ahead of right-wing violence in this country right now, it's a big red flag that Democrats are starting to realize the violent, bloodthirsty tendencies of their base. And they've provoked this. One more back to CNN. This is Todd Lyons, the director of ICE, on CNN with John Berman earlier today.
I've never seen anything like this in my law enforcement career. I've never seen threats on law enforcement, specifically ICE, increase the way it is. You know, we're up over 1,000% assaults on officers right now. And really just a lot of the talk that's out there, a lot of the rhetoric is just the violence directed towards law enforcement officers just trying to do their job. And we just keep seeing it increase step by step. You know, we like I said, we had that shooting at the Alvarado facility, which is right outside Dallas, on July 4th, where they ambushed officers in military tactical gear under the guise of fireworks. And now we have this. And it just seems like it keeps getting worse and worse, and it has to stop.
It does. The ICE agents are just doing their job. And by the way, Donald Trump, you should know, in this Reuters poll also is crushing the Democrats on the issue of who is better able to handle immigration. What they're trying to do is cause a lot of fear. They're trying to essentially drive up the antagonism and stress levels of people doing these jobs so they quit. I don't think it's going to work that way. We've had multiple ICE facilities in Texas attacked. We've had other ICE facilities attacked in the country. I don't think it's going to get better because of the shrill rhetoric of the Democrats. You got Gavin Newsom, after the Charlie Kirk incident, came out with a very heartfelt statement about how he had gotten to know Charlie Kirk and they disagreed on everything. But he didn't deserve to die, and we've got to do something in the country. And now he's on television saying we're in an authoritarian regime and we're not going to have elections in 2028. There's a level of brokenness on the left because they're not in power. They feel helpless and they're turning violent as a request. They don't know what to do other than pick up a gun because, in the mind of the left, and this is very important that you understand this, in the mind of the left, they really do believe the right had turned violent. They really do believe that was how the right was winning, is by becoming violent. And the problem, and it's something I've now been saying on the radio for almost a decade now, is that when you decide to behave the way your opponents behave because you think they're winning by doing something and you start doing it, you become them. And we on the right think the left is becoming violent. And I'm afraid we're going to start becoming violent. But remember, the entirety of the media subculture here on the right has been the right is already violent. And so the leftists decide that's how they won. That's how they won 2024. They're violent. People are scared of them. They must fear us. We're going to pick up guns. And what are they doing? They killed an illegal immigrant today. Critically wounded several ICE agents. It's not the first time this has happened. In Nashville and in Minneapolis, a trans activist killed children in schools. Tyler Robinson decided you couldn't negotiate with Charlie Kirk's hate, and he needed to be eliminated as a result to protect Tyler Robinson's trans partner. The guy in New Hampshire at the golf club screamed "Free Palestine" before opening fire. You have two people who tried to firebomb a Fox News vehicle in Nevada. You have people attacking mourners at memorial services for Charlie Kirk. Shooting up the TV station. It's the left is turning violent. Turning very, very violent. Because they only believe in power. They don't believe in God. They don't even believe in themselves. They believe in a collective control of power, and they've lost it. And they're trying to assert power by other means. And remember, they embraced the Clausewitz phrase that war is politics by other means. And so they're just engaging in political violence now because they see what is happening as violence. And they have an entire philosophy that has been built up by the 1619 Project at the New York Times, by professors on college campuses, by writers in left-wing magazines, that words are violence and they can be responded to with violence, and violence can be met with violence, and it is self-protection, and it is about eliminating the powerful and subverting the dominant paradigm and silencing those who would silence the oppressed. They believe they're doing something good in the process of doing these violent things. And Democrats aren't coming out and denouncing it. Only now, the Atlantic is running this piece about violence and how the left is turning violent. Maybe the Democrats will start to get a clue, because the Democrats fear their base right now. They are scared to death of their base. The Democrats in Congress are headed towards a government shutdown, not because they want a government shutdown, but they're scared of getting shot by their base physically if they don't fight the Republicans. And the only way they see to fight is to shut down the government and hand it over to Russ Vought, which is going to be hilarious watching it happen. But you understand this. The Democrats, Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries, They are headed towards a government shutdown, not because they want it, but because they are afraid that they will be murdered physically by their base if they don't look like they are fighting Donald Trump at all costs, and that requires a government shutdown. They are physically scared of their own base, and they're willing to deny the elderly Social Security checks because they would rather deny your grandmother a check than possibly get shot by a Democratic partisan progressive activist.
Have something to say? Hello. Call the show. 1-877-97-ERIC. That's 1-877-973-7425.
1221 Coolray Carrier, WSB 24-hour traffic center. New trouble by the airport. It looks like a crash, 285 eastbound, the outer loop before Riverdale Road, exit 60. Couple of right lanes blocked there. On the north side, or east side perimeter, I should say, 285 northbound, very slow, leaving Highway 78, getting up through this rolling construction zone that's been in 1 to 2 left lanes, passing I-85, the Spaghetti Junction interchange. Traffic brought to you by Whole Foods Market. Now at Whole Foods Market, you can save 20% on no antibiotics ever, beef chuck roast, and stew meat with Prime through September 30th. While supplies last, you can shop in-store or online. Terms apply. I'm Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
Okay, friends, 5K Day Bonus Blitz. Your noon keyword is cake. C-A-K-E, cake. Enter the keyword cake into the WSB Radio app or online at WSBradio.com/cash. You have until 12:30 p.m. to enter the keyword. Win $1,000. The keyword is cake. C-A-K-E. Good luck.
This is Scott Slade, updating my health story. I get a checkup every year, and last September, my primary care physician was troubled by a suspicious number on my lab work. Well, that led to a diagnosis early enough to give me options, and I'm more optimistic than ever about a good outcome. Now, when we're talking about our health, level with your providers. If you think you have a problem, we all need expert eyes looking us over every so often. That's where virtual imaging can be invaluable. Virtual Imaging's LDCT body scan can give you time and options for early treatment, especially for cancer. They can detect tumors as early as precancerous virtually anywhere in your body, and aneurysms you may not even know are there. For a limited time, Virtual Imaging is extending their core body scan offer for only $995 per scan. That's a $2,495 value. Early detection saves lives, and now it's more affordable than ever. Virtual Imaging has gotten such great response, they've opened up more times in both offices. But appointments will fill up fast for this offer, so don't wait. Some minimum requirements may apply. Early detection is your best protection. To schedule your Virtual Imaging $995 core body scan, call 770-678-SCAN. That's 770-678-SCAN. Or make an appointment by visiting their website at virtualimagingatl.com. That's virtualimagingatl.com. Do it now, while you still have options.
Truett Cathy used to say, how do you know if someone needs encouragement? If they're breathing. Everyone needs to be encouraged. Let's make a real effort today to encourage everyone we can. Not only will you be making more of an impact than you realize, you'll be more impacted than you might guess. Let's go. Encourage people today. This is Tom Gray, thanking Hardy Chevrolet GMC for their support.
We love you and we need you.
ThisStuffMatters.net.
Welcome to Window Wisdom with North Georgia Replacement Windows. Today we're talking with window and door experts Ted Kirk and Jonathan Cullum, owners of North Georgia Replacement Windows. Ted, can you explain how the Infinity fiberglass windows can give us more daylight and bigger views in our home?
Because our Infinity Ultrex fiberglass is so strong, the frames of our windows are thinner, which gives you more daylight and bigger views. Our windows are not big and bulky like other replacement windows.
What if someone wants a window where there isn't one already?
Fortunately, we're licensed general contractors, and we can help with that. Our windows come in both a new construction and replacement option, so we're always guaranteed to have the perfect fit for your home.
How do the Infinity fiberglass windows measure up when it comes to energy efficiency?
Infinity windows have super energy efficient glass that will lower your energy bills and protect your floors, window treatments, and home furnishings from fading out from the damaging sun's UV rays.
Jonathan, anything else you'd like to add?
Just remember, if you're replacing your old windows that are leaking or rotting, choose Infinity from Marvin fiberglass windows, or you're giving up both daylight and views. And not only are our fiberglass windows more durable, they are truly beautiful windows.
Jonathan and Ted, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge, experience, and expertise. And right now at North Georgia Replacement Windows, it's time to huddle up for huge savings. You'll enjoy 17% off your project. Plus, up to 12 months, no interest, no payment financing. That's 17% off your project. Plus, up to 12 months, no interest, no payments. Hurry, offers end 9/30/2025. Visit our beautiful showroom in Alpharetta to see all the possibilities. Huddle up now for these amazing savings. And check out all the details online at ngwindows.com. ngwindows.com.
Infinity from Marvin, replacement windows, yeah!
Your non-stop news source, 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Giving you the truth, not the talking points. It's the Eric Erickson Show.
Welcome back. It is Eric Erickson here. You can't make this stuff up. You really can't. Where is this? Let me pull this clip here. This is going to blow your mind. Well, maybe not. Maybe not. MSNBC is diving into the ICE shooting in Texas. We now know that it is the left-winger wrote anti-ICE on shell casing. And what does MSNBC do? They decide to say he might have been inspired by the right.
Inspired? Are you worried about copycats?
Yes. I don't know if the rooftop trend is going to be a thing. I mean, it could just be coincidental that the best vantage point just happened to be elevated positions in this case. But people emulating this kind of attack is certainly a concern. The irony with the writing, the first time we really saw that was Brenton Tarrant in the Christchurch shooting in a mosque in New Zealand, and he was a fierce, white supremacist and neo-Nazi, and wrote all over his weapon and his rounds, very hateful information. So to see this coming from, potentially the other side of the political spectrum is a little strange.
No, it's not. Tyler Robinson did it, and you know who they were inspired by? They weren't inspired by a guy in New Zealand, Mr. MSNBC. They were inspired by Luigi Mangione. Luigi Mangione is the guy who did this, and ever since Mangione did it, progressive activists have been doing it to their shell casings, to their rounds. This has nothing to do with people on the right. You morons at MSNBC just can't blame people on the left. You got to blame people on the right. Americans for Prosperity would like for you guys to get involved in fighting for the right. They would like for you to help advance freedom in this country, and you can do so by going to afpvolunteer.com. They're trying to get 250,000 Americans to take a step for freedom in their communities in time for the 250th anniversary of the country. And if 250,000 of us did engage in advancing freedom in our local communities, we would make the nation freer in time for our birthday. You can find out more at afpvolunteer.com. Americans for Prosperity is the largest leading grassroots group in the country. They happen to be on the right. They happen to be advancing conservatism across the country. They'd love to get you involved. AFPvolunteer.com. Advance freedom in your local community. Move the ball forward for this country in time for our 250th birthday. AFPvolunteer.com.
If you have the WSB radio app.
If you have the WSB
all
app.
the notifications you
If
need.
you have the WSB app.
All the local and breaking news alerts you need.
Breaking news in Cobb County.
All in one place.
We'll send out an alert on the WSB app.
The 95.5 WSB app.
Download it from your app store today. Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News.
Weather.
Traffic.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It is 12:30. Good afternoon. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news is sponsored by Jim Ellis Automotive. Shots were fired today at an ICE facility in Dallas, Texas. One person was killed. The shooter also dead from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Acting Director of ICE Todd Lyons.
Next steps here is obviously identifying that shooter, seeing what his motive was, seeing if any
support, seeing what, who funded him, where the weapon came from. And just really trying to figure out what went on in the situation.
He says the shooter was on top of a nearby building when he opened fire. Rounds that were found near the suspected shooter contain anti-ice messages. Your weather for today, partly cloudy through the afternoon, highs around 90. And then by the time you drive home this afternoon and evening, rain showers and storms are possible, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. In Cobb County, police investigating after a 9-month-old is shot and killed. It happened at a motel near Truist Park. Police were called to the Budgetel Inn just around 8 o'clock last night. A woman saying her baby girl had been struck by gunfire. That little girl pronounced dead at the scene. Police now asking anybody with information to give them a call. You drive a Ford? There is an alert you need to know about. Jeff Gilbert reports Ford is recalling some 115,000 of its biggest pickup trucks because part of the steering column can detach.
That can raise the risk of a crash, although no crashes or injuries have been reported. Ford is still coming up with a final remedy for the problem. The impacted vehicles are some of Ford's biggest trucks, the F-250, 350, and 450 from the 2020 and 21 model years.
When it comes to new home sales, they surged by over 20% in August. That increase coming as interest rates fell and home builders slashed prices. Let's take a look at the markets. We're in the red. The Dow down 105 at 46,187. NASDAQ is also down almost 0.5%, and the S&P is also in negative territory. Stay close. We'll have live team coverage of traffic and weather coming your way after these commercials. It's 12:32.
Moms and dads, can I talk to you for a minute as a parent? You know what you do at night? You get home, you say, what do you want for supper? Oh, no, what do you want for supper? Food? What kind of food? The kind that you eat. That's what I do in my house. You know what makes it easy? You go to omahasteaks.com. You take advantage of the 50% off sale right now, happening right now, and you can get steaks, you can get seafood, you can get chicken. And wait, there's stuff you don't even have to go throw on the grill. They have ready-made sides and main courses you put in the oven and heat up, and you got dinner ready, quick, from omahasteaks.com. And if you go right now, not only do you get 50% off, but you put Eric in as your promo code at checkout, ERICK, and you get an extra $35 off. Minimum order required. You load up your cart with deliciousness from Omaha Steaks. Get the main courses, get the lasagnas, get the caramel apple tartlets, get the sides, whatever you want. Steakhouse quality delivered to your door from omahasteaks.com. At checkout, use promo code ERICK, ERICK. You'll get an extra $35 off at omahasteaks.com.
Men, trouble in the bedroom? Not anymore. Priority Men's Medical Center restores your love life in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Priority Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Priority Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. You'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients get their testosterone checked free. Call 404-885-8885. 404-885-8885. To restore your love life in just one visit, call now. 404-885-8885.
You're hearing noises in the attic at night. What's going on? Well, it's mating season for flying squirrels. Meteorologist Christina Edwards here. Yeah, this happened to me. These are smart, devious, and intrusive pests that are hard to remove. But with Breda, it will be like they were never there. Under the Breda Wildlife Guarantee, if critters return, you're covered at no additional cost. Breda Pest Management. They handle bugs and critters.
Breda, no need to be afraid of bugs.
Live team coverage of traffic and weather, Alex Williams.
Better news on the south side perimeter. Crash cleared. 285 eastbound, the outer loop at Riverdale Road. Downtown, brake lights. 7585 northbound from University Avenue getting up past I-20 where some trouble cleared. And you still got the left lane construction in Lithonia, 20 eastbound past Panola Road. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. Increasing cloud cover this afternoon with a high near 90. Scattered rain showers and thunderstorms arrive later this evening.
85 degrees here in Midtown Atlanta. More news at 1 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
Greetings, conversationalists. It is Eric Erickson here. I will keep you up to date as we learn more about the ICE situation. But I gotta move on to other things, and I want to start with, first of all, Brian Stelter from CNN, and if you will recall, Brian Stelter in 2020 had on Michael Avenatti before he went to prison and built up his potential as a challenger to Donald Trump in the 2020 primaries. I don't really know that Brian has that much of a pulse on the public or politics, but this was him on CNN yesterday before the return of Jimmy Kimmel.
He's probably going to have the biggest audience of his career, and he can say just about anything. In some ways, Kimmel's now the safest person on TV, you know, with the most freedom, the most autonomy, because ABC has actively, constructively chosen to bring him back on television, despite President Trump's criticism, despite the FCC's threats, despite all of this attention in the past week.
That's one of the most boneheaded things I think I've heard on TV. This is not Jimmy Kimmel coming back at his most powerful and safest. This is him coming back for his valedictory address. He's headed off into the sunset. Sinclair and Nexstar are not running his show. He's costing ABC advertisers and money. They suspended him, contrary to what even CNN was reporting and others were reporting in the last week. He was not pushed out by the FCC. We now know it was because he was going to become even more incendiary on the Wednesday night after the situation blew up, and ABC needed a cooling off period for him. We know that affiliates complained. We know that advertisers complained, but the American Press Corps, because they're on the left, they believed the left-wing narrative that it was Brandon Carr's pressure. If it was Brandon Carr's pressure, he would still be off the air today. Instead, they brought him back a few days later, letting the situation cool down. The left gets to claim that they got a scalp with Brendan Carr. The right got to claim Jimmy Kimmel's scalp last week. Bob Iger reigned supreme. The idea from Brian Stelter, who really is in the progressive hive mind and is an articulator of the conventional wisdom of progressives, is that Jimmy Kimmel is somehow now super safe. No. I'm going to be surprised if Kimmel's contract is renewed, and if it is renewed at the salary that he's making, because he's costing ABC money. CBS is winding down Stephen Colbert, contrary again to what people on the left think, not because of Donald Trump, but because he's costing them money. They don't have eyeballs. You know, back in the day, you had the late night shows, and the thinking was that they're going to leave it on Carson when they go to bed. When they get up in the morning, it's going to be the Today Show, and they're going to stick with us. And it was great for ratings. And guess what? That strategy worked, the carryover effect. You'd go to bed with Johnny Carson at night, and you'd wake up the next morning, and the Today Show would be on. And guess what? The ratings for the Today Show were always dominant because people were getting up, turning on the TV. It was still on NBC. Those days are gone now. I turn on my TV in the office, and it goes to software, and you got to pick your options. It doesn't work that way. But the media is convinced that this was an infringement of free speech by the FCC. It's why Brendan Carr, by the way, should have never said anything. I like him, considering we've got a great relationship personally. I know him. I know his team. They're good people. He never should have said anything. I'm also friends with Jake Tapper. And I got to play you. Jake Tapper was on TV the other night. See if I can find the clip here with Jon Stewart. Let me play you. Nope, that's the wrong clip. Where'd it go? Anyway, Jake Tapper was on television and said that Jimmy Kimmel censorship was, in his lifetime, the worst censorship that he could recall from the government. And I have to tell you, I'm friends with Jake. I vehemently disagree with Jake. I don't think this is the worst censorship from the government at all. In fact, I think what happened to the American people during COVID was worse. I think what happened to the New York Post was worse than what happened to Jimmy Kimmel. The New York Post got its social media feeds suppressed by Democrats, not even by the government, by the pressure from Democrats and outside national security experts. I think it was not good. Now I see what happened. I told Charlie to get the clip, and then it was not the right clip. This is Jake Tapper on with Seth Meyers. It's worth you guys hearing this clip.
All right, Jimmy Kimmel. He's a friend of both of ours. Yeah. You know him, I know him. We know he's a good person. Obviously, this news is very exciting. But what was your original take on how this all went down starting last week?
I mean, I thought it was pretty much the most direct infringement by the government on free speech that I've seen in my lifetime.
Yeah.
You know what? I disagree with this, and here's why. We now know from Facebook and Google and Twitter that in 2021 in particular, in 2021, when Joe Biden came into office, social media companies came under inordinate pressure from President Biden's team to demonetize, cancel, and suppress the accounts of private American citizens. Members of the press think when something happens to members of the press, it's the worst thing ever. But actually, you know, there are members of the press, and Jake is not one of these, by the way, but there are members of the press who think that the freedom of the press and the First Amendment belongs only to them. There are young reporters I have seen routinely on Twitter insist that they themselves have First Amendment protection and you don't. Google admitted to Jim Jordan in a letter yesterday that the Biden administration pressured them to suspend, cancel, and expel people from YouTube for spreading COVID disinformation. The reason members of the media don't think that's the biggest infringement ever of free speech in this country is because a lot of the people who were putting stuff on there actually were putting a bunch of nonsense up that was harmful to people. So it was in their minds a civic good, but that's not how the First Amendment works. The First Amendment means you need more speech, not less speech. In all cases, more speech. But the press is outraged about Jimmy Kimmel because he's a friend. He's a personal friend of Jake's. Jimmy Kimmel is a friend to a lot of members of the press. So they're outraged on his behalf. And they're, frankly, I think, also outraged because they think if it can happen to him, it can happen to any one of us. And we need to circle the wagons and rally the flag and prevent this from happening again. And I get that. And I get that many of the accounts turned off by YouTube were nutters spreading conspiracy theories. But that doesn't matter. The First Amendment is for the American people. And the Biden administration wasn't targeting a celebrity with millions of social media followers who makes lots of money, who could get on social media and continue to do the same thing and get a Substack and monetize himself and be just fine. They were targeting individual American citizens. They were silencing the people, not a celebrity. And they weren't just silencing one person. They were silencing thousands of people. And they weren't doing it themselves, like with ABC. People have used the word jawboning, inserted themselves, pressuring private companies to do what the government directly could not do. That's what Joe Biden was doing to Twitter and to Facebook and to Google. And the way the media processes this is the most damning indictment of the worldview of the press, frankly. They're processing it as these companies are just telling Republicans what they want to hear. See, if they say this, if they say that these companies are targeting or are telling people what they want to hear, they can be dismissive of what the companies are saying. Oh, they're just afraid of getting bullied by Jim Jordan and Donald Trump, so they're telling them what they want to hear. It allows them to dismiss it. Aaron Rupar is a progressive who does a lot of gotcha social media clips for the left. He put up this tweet after Kash Patel noted that the shooter had anti-ICE written on his casing. You cannot trust information coming from Kash Patel's FBI. You cannot trust information coming from ICE. You cannot trust information coming from the Trump administration. You cannot trust information coming from the Republicans. He's a partisan progressive, but that's the view in the editorial meetings of the press as well. He's reflective of the progressive mindset that's within the American Press Corps. Because it's Jim Jordan who released the letter from Google, because Mark Zuckerberg, who said it was a shakedown from the Biden administration was telling Republicans that under oath. They're like, oh, they were just telling the Republicans what they want to hear. It's not true. How can we believe Jim Jordan? He's the chairman of the Judiciary Committee. They don't want to be targeted. They're telling what they want to hear. It's a very easy way for the press to have to dismiss the implications that the Biden administration was censoring not celebrities who would have large platforms to still get out their message, but censoring an American citizen whose only platform was their YouTube account with a few thousand followers. It's actually far worse to censor private American citizens on behalf of the government than to pull Jimmy Kimmel for less than a week. It's far worse to cancel an American citizen than to cancel Jimmy Kimmel's TV show. Because in the words of Brian Stelter, when they were going after Fox News and the media was perfectly fine targeting Fox News, freedom of speech is not freedom of reach. When your only reach is your YouTube account, and that's the only way you have to get out your message, and Joe Biden says, shut it down or we're targeting you, and you shut it down, that is killing someone's free speech. But Jimmy Kimmel could get picked up by Comedy Central. He can get picked up by HBO. He can get on Twitter or Instagram or any of a variety of social media services and get his message out to millions of people. But Kooky Mom 318, who believes essential oil kills COVID, her only platform was her Twitter account and her Facebook, and the government shut it down or had the private company shut it down. And you can say, well, it needed to be shut down. She's Kooky Mom telling people take frankincense, it would cure their COVID. But she had the right under the Constitution to say that. And your response should not be to silence her. Your response should be better speech. I completely agree that there were a lot of people saying crazy things. But you know what? Some of the things you thought were crazy, members of the media, turned out to be true. 2 weeks to stop the spread didn't stop the spread. I see the Affleck kid testifying to the UN about the masks and trying to force everybody on the planet to wear masks. Masking didn't work. Some because people wore the masks wrong, some because of the mask type, some because people just weren't going to wear them. You're not going to force people into masks. The vaccine that everyone insisted would stop the virus never stopped the virus. And by the way, when people on social media were saying that the vaccine is not going to stop the virus, their accounts were turned off by social media companies at the behest of the Biden administration, and they were right. And you were wrong. I have a good relationship with Jake Tapper. I respect the news, the work that he does. But the biggest attack on the First Amendment in my lifetime is not what happened to Jimmy Kimmel for less than a week that involved advertisers and affiliates, not just the chairman of the FCC. The biggest attack on free speech in my lifetime was what happened to ordinary Americans on social media in 2021 when the Biden administration told social media accounts to turn off those accounts, demonetize them, and suppress them. Because what happened to Jimmy Kimmel was a temporary suspension from a network. And Kimmel could have gone out the same day and used his name to get a massive following somewhere else. But the individual Americans who had their accounts turned off, suspended, blacklisted, they don't have Jimmy Kimmel's platform. And while you or I may have disagreed with what they were saying, it was their right to say it. And the Biden administration, knowing they couldn't shut them down, got the tech companies to shut them down and violate their free speech, and in some cases demonetize them, took money from them. And I think it would behoove every member of the press to recognize that if you're outraged about what happened to Jimmy Kimmel, even though you and I disagree with what a lot of these people were saying on social media, that is a bigger assault on the First Amendment when the government targets small private citizens no one's ever heard of before except on social media, and forces private companies to suppress their speech. That's a much bigger attack on the First Amendment than what happened to Jimmy Kimmel.
Honest.
Putting your trust in me to tell you what's going on.
Transparent.
I need you to know this from the bottom of my heart.
Giving you the information without the noise.
My job isn't to tell you what you want to hear, it's to tell you the truth.
It's the Eric Erickson Show.
1250 Cool Ray Carrier, WSB 24-hour traffic center crash downtown, 7585 northbound before University Avenue, exit 244. It's in the second left lane. They're about to block all lanes. Get it off to the right. New stall in the right lane in Sandy Springs. Stalled Big Rig, 285 westbound, the outer loop, New Northside Drive, Powers Ferry Road, exit 22. And right lane construction in Kennesaw, 75 North Chastain Road. Use Highway 41. Traffic brought to you by Superior Plumbing. Presents North Georgia State Fair. Something for everyone, September 18th through the 28th at the Superior Plumbing presents North Georgia State Fair at Jim R. Miller Park in Marietta. NorthGeorgiaStateFair.com for more info. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
It pays to have the WSB radio app. Download it today and get ready for the Blitz.
The WSB 5K a day bonus blitz. 5 chances every weekday to win $1,000.
I just won $1,000 from WSB.
The WSB 5K a day bonus blitz.
Your next chance to win is at 2 p.m.
I am so excited.
From 95.5 WSB.
Download the WSB radio app now.
Hey, it's Scott Slade for FGA Roofing. If your home's exterior could use an updated look, or maybe one of your neighbor's designer roofs has caught your eye, and your current roof has started to show its age, then now's the perfect time to check out FGA Roofing for the latest in architectural shingles, timberland shingles, and more. Slate, tile, wood shake, cedar roofs, FGA has them all. FGA Roofing offers 0% financing for 12 months with your good credit. Get the roof you want now and pay over time. Just search FGA Roofing to get started with a free quote today.
I'm here with Chris Hoffman, the founder of Hoffman Financial Group and host of Money Unleashed. Chris, every week on the show, we offer folks something we call the Portfolio X-Ray. I was hoping you could walk us through that process and tell us why the information it uncovers is so powerful.
Yeah, so the reason we love doing the Portfolio X-Ray for you is we do that behind the scenes. Everybody's extremely busy. Nobody wants to waste time in traffic. If you call in, we will ask you for some information via the phone. Once you've given us that information, we go to work and we put all the hours in developing the report. And I commit this to you. The Portfolio X-Ray is eye-opening. At least 90+% of the time, we can find 2 or 3 golden nuggets in there that you were not aware of that we can either change in your current portfolio mix for you. It's called a 401k optimizer. Or if we manage the assets for you, we certainly can recommend how to diversify away from some of the troubling points that are exposed during the Portfolio X-Ray. Once we've got that, then we'll have you in for your initial consultation. We will present the Portfolio X-Ray to you and walk you through the high points of it. And that's a document that you get to take with you. It's like getting a financial physical. So how many of you avoided going to the doctor for the annual physical last year? You do the same thing with your financial life. You ignore it. You keep pumping money into your 401k. You hope that it's going well, and I can tell you that hope is not a good investment or financial planning strategy. You need to know. So if you want to know, call us.
The Portfolio X-Ray is complimentary. Give Hoffman Financial Group a call to schedule yours today. 404-737-3858, 404-737-3858, or online at unleashyourmoney.com. Investment advisory services offered through Brookstone Wealth Advisors, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Hoffman Financial Group Incorporated, Georgia Insurance License number 163546.
Lee Brandt Jewelry and Watch Company, where quality and value make the difference. Locally owned and located in Sandy Springs, offering the finest selection of unique European jewelry designs. Lee Brandt has natural and lab-grown diamonds with a large selection of engagement ring settings. Lee Brandt has serviced Rolex watches for over 30 years, and their trained watchmaker will service your Rolex in store. Lee Brandt uses only genuine Rolex parts, and estimates are free. Drop by Lee Brandt in the Trader Joe's Shopping Center in Sandy Springs, or visit LeeBrandt.com.
WSB Atlanta, WSB FM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
welcome. It is Eric Erickson. The phone number 877-973-7425. Well. Speaking of attacks on free speech that are the worst thing ever, a district court in New York has just declared Douglas Mackey acquitted of all charges. If the name doesn't sound familiar, when Barack Obama was president of the United States and we were in the 2016 election, a man named Douglas Mackey on a social media account under the name of Ricky Vaughn tweeted, he had a very limited following, that you didn't actually have to go vote on Election Day. You could text your vote to a number if you wanted to vote. And apparently one or two stupid people decided they would try it. The Biden administration prosecuted Douglas Mackey for his tweet. And he was found guilty by a New York jury in a federal court of undermining people's civil rights by depriving them of their right to vote because he tweeted, "You can text your vote." He never should have been prosecuted. One, because the people who believed him were clearly idiots. Maybe they had taken Tylenol. And two, it was a tweet. It was a tweet. It was words. And it was appealed. The federal court appellate process worked and threw out the case, and he's now acquitted as of today. Do not tell me what happened to Jimmy Kimmel was the biggest assault on free speech by the federal government ever, because a man was prosecuted for a tweet and went to jail because of it, because of a tweet. That's where the big free speech assault came from. Eden Pure would like to send you their thunderstorms. You can get 3 of them for less than $200 and save $200 at EdenPureDeals.com. All you have to do is go to EdenPureDeals.com, put in the discount code ERIC3, ERICK3, then you'll get 3 of them. They're air purifiers. They get rid of dust and pollen. They get rid of pet dander. They kill 99.9% of bacteria and viruses that flow through the machine, and then they generate ozone and wipe out odors. No odor can stand up to it. Wet dog odor, litter box odor, smoke odors, frying shrimp in the kitchen odors, musty odors. I've used them in rental cars. You can plug it up with a USB cord, or you can plug it directly into the wall. EdenPureDeals.com is the discount code. EdenPureDeals.com. Then that's the website. The discount code is ERIC3, ERICK3. You'll get 3 of them. You'll save $200. You'll get them for less than $200. You get them for upstairs, downstairs, your basement, your travel bag, your RV. You can hold it in your hand. I keep one in my travel bag, and they just work. EdenPureDeals.com. Discount code ERIC3. Clean up the dirty smells wherever you are. You can thank me later. They really do work. EdenPureDeals.com.
Everyone has an opinion.
I've had some great Mondays. I'm having a good Monday right now. Look, it's beautiful outside.
Got that nice loud shirt.
Eric Von Haessler has an opinion.
It's a citrusy, summery, I think breezy kind of shirt.
And some advice.
But just remember this.
Eric Von Haessler, today at 3.
I never have and never will smoke a cigar.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. We're a different kind of wireless company dedicated to serving people 50 and up, like me. Because let's face it, our needs are different. Big wireless unlimited plans are designed for 20-somethings, not us. At Consumer Cellular, we're focused on one thing, bringing you affordable, reliable rate plans that suit your needs, not ours. How do we do that? We start by using the same towers as the big guys, the exact same towers. We then create rate plans designed for your usage. The fact is, we can offer you an unlimited plan with the same network quality for less because we understand how you use wireless services. Our plans start at just $20 a month. And forget trying to chat with robots. You'll get 100% US-based award-winning customer service when you need help. Come find out how wireless should be and join the millions who've made the switch.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
News,
weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
It is 1 o'clock. Good afternoon. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news is sponsored by Dr. Roof. In Clayton County, a man attacked by pit bulls while out for a walk in his neighborhood. He's talking to WSB today.
Today is Paul Jordan's 75th birthday, but he will be taking it easy with his celebration as he recovers from a scary episode. Out for a daily walk in Jonesboro's Lake Forest subdivision, he encountered a pair of unleashed dogs.
I can see a pit bull heading towards me, and there was another one behind him. I tried to shoo him away, but they were on me.
Jordan was knocked to the ground and suffered scratches and bruises to his face, back, and arms. He was taken to the hospital and got 6 stitches and was diagnosed with an orbital fracture. Clayton County Animal Control was called, and they have now opened an investigation. Graham Carroll, 95.5 WSB.
And neighbors say this is not the first time those dogs have attacked. All right, your weather for today, partly cloudy through the afternoon, highs around 90, and showers, rainstorms possible on your drive home this afternoon and evening, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. She'll have Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast straight ahead. A mother in Norcross entering a guilty plea today in the beating death of her 8-year-old daughter. 31-year-old Brittany Nicole Hall and her partner, Celeste Owens, reported the child missing back in November of 2021. Investigators determined that they were lying and the child had not gone missing. They were able to find evidence of abuse of other children in the home. Investigators uncovered more than a dozen videos recorded by a nanny cam and uploaded to the phone showing the adult couple beating all 3 children. Investigators were able to locate the child's body in the woods in part of DeKalb County. In December, Hall's partner, Celeste Owens, was found guilty of malice murder, felony murder, aggravated battery, assault, child cruelty, and other charges. She was sentenced to life plus 235 consecutive years in prison. At least 1 person dead, 2 others injured when a shooter opens fire on a Dallas, Texas ice facility.
We later learned that we had 4 individuals that were shot, 2 of them deceased, including the shooter. The DPD was able to locate the shooter, who was deceased.
And that is the police chief there in Dallas saying the shooter was found at a nearby apartment building. The FBI is investigating the shooting as an act of targeted violence. FBI Director Kash Patel posting a picture on X of shell casings engraved with the phrase, quote, anti-ice, that were found at the scene. No ICE agents were injured in the shooting. Republican Texas Senator Ted Cruz calling for an end to political violence and noted this was the 3rd shooting targeting ICE or Border Patrol in that state. It's 102.
Hey, homeowners, it's Eric Erickson here. Do your windows and doors stick? Are you noticing cracks in the drywall or the brickwork? You might have a big problem. Serious issues need the serious experts at Engineered Solutions of Georgia. Their skills are unmatched, as are their foundation solutions. When these guys repair a problem, it's the last time you'll have to worry about it. Done once, done right. Start today with a free inspection. Go to ESOGrepair.com. That's ESOGrepair.com.
Dial 678 ESOG now.
This is Wes Moss from Money Matters. You know, retirement is a lot like football. The best teams don't just show up on game day. They've got great coaches and a smart game plan. Without one, things go off the rails quickly. At Capital Investment Advisors, we would act as your retirement coach, building both the big picture strategy and the detailed plays that aim to help you score the retirement you want. Don't go into retirement with a bad playbook. Visit us at yourwealth.com. That's YOUR wealth.com.
Attention men, does ED and PE have you down? Well, great news. Choice Men's Health has the latest breakthrough treatments that can get you up and running. Meet the specialist who is dedicated to helping you perform better than ever in the bedroom.
Hi, I'm Dr. Katz, Chief Medical Director at Choice Men's Health. Our custom treatment plans have a 98% success rate at improving ED and PE on your very first visit, even if Viagra and Cialis have failed. Regardless of your age and medical history, we are here and dedicated to help you regain your love life.
Don't wait. Call Choice Men's Health now. We are so confident we can help. For a limited time, we're offering to cover your first treatment for free. Call 404-400-1170. Call now to claim your free treatment. 404-400-1170. Results guaranteed on your first visit or it's free. 404-400-1170. Choice Men's Health, the only choice for your health.
If you're ignoring any cracked bricks or concrete cracks, you could be ignoring underlying foundation problems. You'll want to get ahead of these problems sooner rather than later. Don't wait any longer. Visit AquaGuard.net today to book your free inspection. Remember, AquaGuard.
It's 1:05. Time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Alex Williams in the 24-hour traffic center.
Having to sound the travel advisory again today, Sabrina, for those traveling north between Marietta and Kennesaw on 75 northbound due to right lane construction at Chastain Road. You're slow from South Marietta Parkway. Use Highway 41 of the express lanes. Also dealing with a stalled big rig in Sandy Springs, 285 westbound, the outer loop, New Northside Drive, Powers Ferry Road, exit 22, that's in a right lane. And construction on I-20 East heading toward Lithonia, left lane blocked past Panola Road, exit 71. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Mostly cloudy this evening with scattered rain showers and thunderstorms moving through. Lows tonight in the low 70s. Tomorrow cloudy with off and on rain and thunderstorms, high 79. The rain moving out on Friday, becoming partly to mostly cloudy, highs in the upper 70s.
It is 87 degrees right now in Beaufort. Sandy Springs has 88 degrees, and it is 88 right now with partly cloudy skies in Marietta. We'll have more news at 1:30, breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
Engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hello, America. It is Eric Erickson here across the United States. Glad to have you with me here. The phone number is 877-973-7425. Where we go? There we go here. Sorry. Reverb here as I fired up my own Twitter stream so I can tweet. Yes, on the fly. Real professional of me. I realize I forgot to do something here, but that's okay. As we begin the program today with the left turning violent, because I found it very notable. It's the Atlantic today that is running a piece about the rise of violence on the left in the United States. It's actually really notable that it's coming from the Atlantic. The reason it's notable that it's coming from the Atlantic is because the Atlantic is kind of the intellectual elite Bible of the day. They would far prefer to read the Atlantic than most anything else out there. And so when the Atlantic has a piece out that claims that the left is getting violent, well, it's kind of a big deal. Left-wing terrorism is on the rise. This is a piece by Daniel Byman and Riley McCabe, and it's behind a paywall. So I don't expect any of you to get it. But at the same time, it is, I think, relevant that the left is talking about this story. When you look at the last number of years, you had James Hodgkinson. You had, who else out there did you have? You had James Hodgkinson. You had Floyd Lee Corkins. You've had more and more progressive activists. You've had the Charlie Kirk situation with Tyler Robinson, who the left tried very, very hard to claim was on the left and wasn't someone from the left. You've had in the last couple of weeks the bombing or the firebombing of the Fox van, the local Fox van in Utah. You've had now the ICE shooting in Texas, another ICE shooting. The left, you will recall, wants ICE agents to stop covering their faces. Here you know why they're covering their faces, because they can't otherwise function. The terror threat that exists out there against ICE agents is growing. It is unfortunate. It is bad. People on the right are having to live in fear. politicians on the left are having to live in fear. I can't go anywhere anymore without having security. It's we're in this unfortunate world. In fact, I sent out a pitch to subscribe to my Substack yesterday. And my pitch is actually that I like to go do events with you guys. And I'm no longer allowed to go do events with you guys without security present, and I got to pay for that security. I got to pay a second plane ticket for somebody to be able to travel with me. I got to pay for an armed security agent to travel with me to places. It's absurd. I don't have the budget for it unless people subscribe to Substack. Radio revenue goes up, but I otherwise can't hang out and do events with people. So that was my pitch yesterday for people to subscribe to my Substack, to do a paid subscription, because the absurdity of the cost going up because I can't go somewhere without security because of crazy people on the left. We have for the last decade been lectured by progressives about the increased violence on the right. And many times that increased violence on the right was actually not a right-wing attack. It's just, it was quote-unquote coded as right-wing because the target was perceived as something the right would attack. And many times it wasn't a right-wing attacker, but the left, particularly using the Biden and the Obama administration, seeded the narrative the right had turned violent. I saw someone on social media the other day say, when has the left ever stormed the Capitol? And I was like, you do understand that the left bombed the United States Capitol. Yes, that's right. The Weather Underground, a progressive activist group, bombed the United States Capitol, the Pentagon, and the State Department. Puerto Rican nationalists shot up the United States House of Representatives. And yet, because the left has no sense of history, they don't know these things. No matter how hard, this is the Atlantic, ideologues try to exclusively blame their political foes for acts of political violence, the truth is that violent extremism today emerges from across the political spectrum. We have studied this problem and believe that our data can help illuminate an issue too often defined by partisan finger-pointing. As part of a study to be published this week for the Center of Strategic and International Studies, we compiled and analyzed a data set of 750 attacks and plots in the United States from January 1st, 1994 to July 4th, 2025. Our research focuses only on incidents of terrorism, which we define as acts or plots by a non-state actor attempting to achieve a political end and exert a psychological influence on a broad population. Among other details, the data set includes the types of weapons used, the intended targets, the numbers of fatalities, and the ideologies of the perpetrators. We found that left-wing terrorism has increased since President Trump's rise to political prominence in 2016. Indeed, 2025 marks the first time in more than 30 years that left-wing attacks outnumber those from the far right. Despite its recent increase, however, left-wing terrorism is not nearly as common today as it was in the 60s and 70s. Those years marked the height of groups such as the Weather Underground and the Symbionese Liberation Army, best known for kidnapping the newspaper heiress Patty Hearst. In the 80s and 90s, left-wing terrorism declined while jihadis and right-wing terrorism rose, particularly in the form of anti-government and right-wing violent supremacists. The left is back, baby! It's horrific that they can't talk about this. They're scared to talk about this story on the left. I go back to that Axios piece from July where literally Democratic members of Congress were telling Axios that they want us to bleed. They do not believe we are fighting sufficiently unless we bleed. Not Axios, The Atlantic is covering this piece now, is kind of a wake-up call. Because the left fundamentally believes it's peaceful. The left fundamentally believes that its side, they're normal and they're sane, and also that some of their violence is justifiable. That the Atlantic is saying, you got a problem, you need to do something. It's notable. You know, interestingly enough, they classify as right-wing terrorism the June assassination of Melissa Hortman and her husband in Minnesota. That actually wasn't even a right-wing attack. This is the little scapegoating they do. That was an insane person who believed Tim Walz needed her to die in order to get himself in the Senate. That was well documented. And yet this group has to say, see, this is right-wing. And what you need to understand what's happening here with this, because there are a lot of people on the right who are screaming about the coded data, but you've got to understand this. This is very important. And both sides engage in these sorts of things. And I always kind of pound my head on the desk and against the wall like, can you not understand what's happening here? What these people are having to do is to tell the left, we're on your side. So they have to say things like this assassination in Minnesota. It wasn't a crazy guy who wanted to put Tim Walz in the Senate, which is what it actually was. It was actually coded right-wing. They have to say that so the left might consider their opinion, and their opinion is, under Trump, right-wing extremists may feel less need to mobilize because they sense that their interests are being taken care of. But Kirk's death could change the calculus. Conservatives, members of Congress, and online influencers have used the assassination to support the contention that the left is engaged in war. Trump himself has claimed that a network of political organizations fund and support the violence. And so what do they recommend? Actually, staunching political violence will require America's leaders to commit to fighting all forms of extremism. Condemning all political violence, especially when it emanates from one's own side or targets one's opponents, is also an important means of breaking the cycle of distrust. Many prominent Democrats have done that since Kirk's shooting. So did many Republicans after the assassination of Hortman and the attack on Paul Pelosi in 2022, which again was not political, but they're listed as right-wing violence. Still, both sides need to improve, as evidenced by some left-wing celebrations of Luigi Mangione. You see what they're trying to do here. They're trying to tell Democrats, y'all have to start speaking up now. Your side is turning violent. There's new polling I mentioned last hour. We'll spend a good bit of time dissecting at the bottom of this hour. After 1:35, if you're listening live. Reuters Ipsos finds that Republicans lead Democrats by 4 points on the issue of who is better at fighting political violence or dealing with political violence. Who is better at gun control? Republicans. Who is better at fighting political corruption? Republicans. Yes, a Reuters Ipsos poll finds that by 4 percentage points, the public believes Republicans are better at fighting corruption, handling gun control, and dealing with political violence. You had the assassination of Charlie Kirk. You had the attacks on ICE facilities. You have the attacks on churches. You have the gun control activists shooting up an ABC station. You have the attempted assassination of Republicans by James Hodgkinson, the attempted assassination of the Family Research Council officials by Floyd Lee Corkins. The left has turned violent. And it is a canary in the coal mine that the progressive Bible of the day, The Atlantic, feels the need to tell the left it's true. There's disproportionately more violence on the left now than on the right. Even to make the numbers work, they got to code a lot of stuff as right-wing that aren't right-wing. The attack on Paul Pelosi, the attack on the elected officials in Minnesota, those weren't actually right-wing. Those were crazy people without political agendas, except the guy in Minnesota wanted to get Tim Walz in the Senate. But they got to code them that way so that the left might say, oh, these guys are on our side. they mean well for us. Maybe we should listen to them, because otherwise the left's not going to listen. I've been telling you for several years now that violence was growing on the left, and it fell on all the deaf ears of the left. It fell on deaf ears of the press, and they've amped it up and amped it up and amped it up, and now people are getting shot by progressive activists. And our only saving grace is that they're not good shots. More people would be dead if they were. That's not a good silver lining to have, that, oh, well, only a few people died. It could be worse. People are dying because of left-wing violence. Democrats in Congress are about to shut the government down because they are too scared of their base to stand up to them. The solution that these people in the Atlantic proffer is that Democrats need to speak out against their own side. It's what I've been saying for years. You got to police your own side. If you don't police your own side, the voters will do it for you. These people who did this report understand the voter backlash is coming against Democrats because the Democrats are turning violent. And you're going to get Donald Trump, and then you're going to get probably 8 years of J.D. Vance. If you Democrats don't stop gunning down ICE agents and others and conservatives and trying to assassinate the President of the United States, as you people lose your minds, turning your politics into a religion where the apostates and heretics must be killed. That's what you've done.
Those who love him, listen to find out what he's going to say next. Those who disagree with him, also listen to see what he's going to say next. It's the Erick Erickson Show.
121 Cool Day Carrier, WSB 24-hour traffic center. Still watching the right lane construction in Kennesaw, 75 North Chastain Road, exit 271. Also had a little rain shower move through Marietta a little earlier, right around the 575 Canton Road connector area. Stall still in the right lane in Sandy Springs, 285 westbound, the outer loop. New Northside Drive, Powers Ferry Road, exit 22. Traffic brought to you by Blindstra.com. Blindstra.com is a family business making custom blinds, shades, and shutters. Give them a try and see why over 1 million windows have trusted Blindster. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
On air,
Online,
on the app,
where you get your news,
is where you'll win.
Download the WSB radio app now and maybe win $1,000.
All right, thank you. The WSB 5K a day bonus blitz.
5 words, 5 times a day, every weekday.
Oh my word!
Just enter the word at WSBradio.com or on the WSB radio app. The WSB 5K a day bonus blitz.
Your next chance to win is at 2 p.m.
It's been a year since the last presidential election, and the economy has been on a roller coaster ever since. If you're in the home stretch, looking towards retirement, you may be feeling more anxious than ever about what the next few years could mean for your money. It's Erick Erickson here. If you're over 50 and have $500,000 or more saved for retirement, join me and fellow WSB radio show host, frequent guest on Fox Business with Stuart Varney and Charles Payne, David Nicholas of Nicholas Wealth Management, for a special live event Tuesday, October 7th at 6 p.m. at the Marietta Country Club. We'll break down what the post-election economy means for your retirement and the opportunities and risks that could impact you over the next year. Seating is very limited, so bring a spouse or a friend, enjoy food and drinks, and receive information that may help preserve your future. This is a registration-only event. Call 404-890-5606 or visit nicholaswealth.com to reserve your spot. Again, it's me, Erick Erickson, with David Nicholas, Tuesday, October 7th at 6 p.m. at Marietta Country Club. Don't miss it. Call 404-890-5606 or go to nicholaswealth.com. That's 404-890-5606 or nicholaswealth.com.
Nicholas Wealth Management is an independent financial services firm and uses a variety of different investment strategies. This is prepared for informational purposes only. It does not address specific investment objectives or the financial situation and particular needs of any person who listens to this show. Erick Erickson is a current client and is paid for this ad.
You may have a great looking yard, but is your home's paint job failing in the curb appeal department?
Don't be that homeowner with the ugly paint that your neighbors talk about. Get Rhino Shield.
Rhino Shield isn't just paint. It's an ultimate exterior coating that will improve your home's curb appeal, backed by a 25-year transferable warranty.
Rhino Shield won't chip, crack, or peel. It's mold and mildew resistant, and its durability will not only protect your home from Mother Nature, but it can also make your home more energy efficient.
And it comes in any color. even your wife's favorite.
So beautify your home and get curb appeal for 25 years with Rhino Shield.
Check out our work and visualize Rhino Shield on your home at rhinoshieldga.com.
Or call 678-205-4500 now for a free quote or visit rhinoshieldga.com.
Don't paint, don't vinyl, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Rhino Shield, it's better than paint.
Dave Baker, host of the Home Fixin' Show for Beaver Toyota of Cumming. Looking for a new truck and looking for a great deal? Of course you are. Well, I have a great deal on the Tundra for you, and the only place you're going to find it, the only place you're going to hear about it is right here. Go to beavertoyotacumming.com/Dave's Deals and save money on your new Toyota Tundra. It's that easy. beavertoyotacumming.com/Dave's Deals. The Toyota Tundra from Beaver Toyota of Cumming is the official truck of the Home Fixin' Show.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. We're a different kind of wireless company dedicated to serving people 50 and up, like me. Because let's face it, our needs are different. Big wireless unlimited plans are designed for 20-somethings, not us. At Consumer Cellular, we're focused on one thing, bringing you affordable, reliable rate plans that suit your needs, not ours. How do we do that? We start by using the same towers as the big guys, the exact same towers. We then create rate plans designed for your usage. The fact is, we can offer you an unlimited plan with the same network quality for less because we understand how you use wireless services. Our plans start at just $20 a month. And forget trying to chat with robots. You'll get 100% US-based award-winning customer service when you need help. Come find out how wireless should be and join the millions who've made the switch.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
All the news, weather, and traffic you need. 95.5 WSB.
You can be live on Eric's show by calling 877-97-ERIC. That's 877-973-7425.
Okay, so I know I started the show saying this, and I put it on Twitter. My son in class, instead of calling each other idiots or stupid or dumb, or they have occasionally referred to each other as autistic when they do dumb things, have started in the last 24 hours or so since the president's press conference the other day. They've begun to refer to each other as Tylenol Americans. And I'm sorry I did this. I took Tylenol this morning. Things like that. I mean, it is high school boy humor. They are 16-year-olds, 10th and 11th graders. And my gosh, referring to each other as Tylenol Americans. And you will not be surprised to learn there are some angry people on social media. That's not funny. That's not funny. I'm sorry if you don't find it funny. I thought it was actually rather funny, I have to admit. The worst thing about social media, I think, is there's a lot of bad things about social media, but if I don't find it funny, you therefore can't find it funny. If I don't find it funny, it's not funny, and if you find it funny, you're a terrible person. Nope, I'm sorry. In light of the let's blame Tylenol for autism stuff, the boys spontaneously referring to each other as Tylenol Americans today, I think it's actually pretty funny. I do. Now, I got to tell you about Hillsdale College. They would love to have you take one of their free classes. You got 40 to choose from if you go to ericforhillsdale.com. E-R-I-C-K. ericforhillsdale.com. You've got 40 to choose from. You get a certificate of completion. It is completely free. It is your choice as to which class. I could recommend the C.S. Lewis class or the class on Shakespeare. There's a great class on the literature and theology in Genesis, the capitalism class, the founding fathers class, the Federalist Papers class. There's just a lot. There's even a great class on like Economics 101. You can do them at no charge. They're 30-minute videos, and depending on which class you take, determines the number of videos there are in the class. But every video is only 30 minutes long. You will not get bored with them. They are engaging. And all you have to do is go to ericforhillsdale.com to sign up. ERICK. Eric, as I sneeze, ericforhillsdale.com. Sign up today. No charge. Start a relationship with Hillsdale College today.
WSB's looking for a home for Buddy. Chris Chandler here from Atlanta's Morning News, and Buddy's our dog of the month with Paws Atlanta. About a year-old, 40-pound mix, great starter dog for a family. Meet him at WSBRadio.com/dog. Our sponsor, Finley Roofing, will pay the adoption fees for you. WSBRadio.com/dog.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It is 1:30. Good afternoon. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news is sponsored by Ben Hill Renovation. Update on a shooting today at an ICE facility in Dallas, Texas. 2 ICE detainees killed in that shooting, 2 others wounded. FBI Special Agent in Charge Joseph Rothrock telling us.
Early evidence that we've seen from rounds that were found near the suspected shooter contain messages that are anti-ICE in nature.
Now, the shooter was perched atop a nearby building when he opened fire. He's dead from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Partly cloudy through the afternoon, highs 90, scattered rain showers and storms for your evening ride home. Cobb police investigating after a 9-month-old is shot and killed at a motel near Truist Park. Police were called to the Budgetel Inn. A woman saying her baby girl had been struck by gunfire. The little girl pronounced dead at the scene. Police asking anybody with information to give them a call. A new study today shows a pill that helps patients with rheumatoid arthritis may also help those with type 1 diabetes. Researchers say the pill was able to preserve the body's own insulin production in people that were just diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. Typically, type 1, with that, insulin production slows and then eventually stops. Researchers say the results mean more trials should happen to see if the pill treatment can be sustained for years in a person. And now your money. A new Bankrate survey finds more than a third of American workers expect that they're going to need at least $1 million to retire comfortably. Only half of them think that they can reach that goal. Bankrate's chief financial analyst, Greg McBride, saying many baby boomers and Generation Xers wish they had started saving sooner.
They also have the highest propensity to say that they think they're behind where they should be when it comes to retirement savings.
But it's not for lack of trying. 60% of Americans are contributing the same or more to their retirement accounts than they were a year ago. It's 1:32.
You can call them what you want. Water bugs, palmetto bugs, creepy, crunchy crawlies, whatever makes you feel better. But a roach is a roach by any name you give it. And you want to get rid of the roaches. Meteorologist Christina Edwards here for Breda Pest Management. You can't avoid roaches. They're everywhere and just a part of life here in Georgia. However, you can protect your home and family from those ugly, crunchy, whatever you call them bugs with Breda. You don't want to see roaches anywhere, but it's the roaches inside your home that you want gone. A lot of pest companies have stopped treating the inside of homes to save money, but Breda's got your back. They do it right, protecting the outside and inside of your home. Got roaches? Better call Breda. Make your home a crunch and squish-free zone. Breda Pest Management. They handle bugs and critters like roaches.
Breda, no need to be afraid of bugs.
Men, trouble in the bedroom? Not anymore. Priority Men's Medical Center restores your love life in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Priority Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Priority Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. You'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients get their testosterone checked free. Call 404-885-8885. 404-885-8885. To restore your love life in just one visit, call now. 404-885-8885.
Hey homeowners, it's Eric Erickson here. Do your windows and doors stick? Are you noticing cracks in the drywall or the brickwork? You might have a big problem. Serious issues need the serious experts at Engineered Solutions of Georgia. Their skills are unmatched, as are their foundation solutions. When these guys repair a problem, it's the last time you'll have to worry about it. Done once, done right. Start today with a free inspection. Go to ESOGrepair.com. That's ESOGrepair.com.
Dial 678 ESOG.
It's 1:34. Live team coverage of traffic and weather. Alex Williams.
Better news, stall cleared 285 westbound. The outer loop, New Northside Drive, Powers Ferry Road, exit 22, but still tracking some brake lights back through Sandy Springs to Georgia 400. Right lane construction continues in Kennesaw, 75 north at Chastain Road, exit 271. You can use the express lanes or Highway 41. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Partly cloudy through lunchtime, then scattered rain showers and thunderstorms rolling in this evening. Today's high is 90, lows tonight in the low 70s. Tomorrow, cloudy skies with scattered rain showers and a few rumbles of thunder, high 79. Drying out by Friday with highs in the upper 70s.
More news at 2 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. 95.5 WSB.
Hello, welcome. It's Eric Erickson here. The phone number, 877-973-7425. Should you wish to be on the program, I would be happy to have you. If you text Eric, E-R-I-C-K, to 33777, you can get the show notes, the live stream, the podcast, and a whole lot more. You can also click that first link you'll get if you text Eric to 33777. You can do the subscription for the show notes. Comes to your inbox. Get a morning piece and then a piece right at noon as the show starts. And also, I mean, you're helping us out now, too, as I said earlier. So text Eric to 33777. Before I move on, let me go to Brian from Mustang, Oklahoma. Welcome to the show, sir. How are you?
I'm doing good. Hey, this Jimmy Kimmel thing, I think the president would be wise if he took this opportunity to remind people and educate them a little bit that all of the frequencies that both radio and television use to broadcast are the property of the federal government. And it is a privilege for them to receive a broadcasting license to use their airwaves. And First Amendment, you can say whatever you want, of course, but you do not have the right to broadcast whatever you want on their airwaves. So their argument that they should not be allowed, someone cannot misbehave and lose their privileges to broadcast, that's not true. They can, if they abuse that privilege, their license, broadcast license can be revoked, and they can be taken off the air.
Yeah, look, I'm glad you're saying that, Brian. Because, I, being a broadcaster, if I say certain words on this radio station, not only do I get in trouble, but the radio station gets in trouble too. If a broadcast network decided to air adult content, it could get in trouble. In fact, when it goes to the free speech issue as well, Brian, there actually is an FCC rule that if there is a national issue or a high, a prominent local issue for which the broadcast company gets things wrong, they can be punished by the FCC. Let's not forget the Janet Jackson wardrobe malfunction, things like that. You're absolutely right that you get a license from the government for broadcast. By the way, these rules don't apply to cable. The airwaves, there are frequencies that your television or radio station tuned to. Like, for example, Brian's calling from Mustang, Oklahoma. So he's listening on 96.9 FM, Freedom 96.9 out there. And his radio station is tuned to the frequency 96.9 FM. If he goes a little bit higher than that or a little bit lower than that, can't hear me, here's something else. And because it's a limited spectrum, the government controls it. And because the government controls it, they put restrictions on how it can be used. Now, if I were just over the internet or I was over satellite or something like that, those rules don't apply because there's more of an unlimited spectrum there. And the government doesn't control it. You can say things on CNN and Fox, including bad words during the day, that if you were to say them on your local broadcast television station, they could get their license lost. There are restrictions that apply. Now, where does all this stuff head with the left not understanding these things? One of the problems that both sides have, and one of the things I try to fight against, and sometimes it aggravates you guys, is the bubble. I get a lot of hate mail from my own side when I question the conventional wisdom of my own side on occasion. Everybody wants me to fall in line. But the pressure is more intense on the left. Right now, you question left-wing orthodoxy on the left, you could be gunned down. I mean, literally, look at the violence on the left. Democrats live in fear of their base right now. Literal fear of their base. The problem here for Democrats is that they have this massive echo chamber. So there's something happening right now on social media, particularly on Blue Sky, but also on Twitter, because it's Kash Patel who tweeted out the photo of the bullet casing that had anti-ICE written on it. They're like, oh, if this was real progressive, they would have written anti-ICE. They would have written something else. This is clearly coded right-wing. This is a right-wing setup. They couldn't believe that Tyler Robinson was on the left. I'm sure Heather Cox Richardson and her must-read left-wing Substack tomorrow will assure the left that the shooter of the ICE facility was actually on the right, and they'll all believe it. They cannot acknowledge the violence on their side. That's why that Atlantic piece is so important, because it's showing that there are cracks forming in the dam of the left-wing echo chamber. The bubble is beginning to be pierced by the reality the left is turning violent. But MSNBC, CNN, the New York Times, USA Today, the Washington Post, ABC, CBS, NBC, PBS, NPR, they all go out of their way to toe the partisan progressive line time and time again. And the problem is this. Oftentimes you, and it doesn't matter which side you're on, right or left, you get into a bubble. And in that bubble, reality does not penetrate, and you become convinced that you're on the winning side of an issue when you're not actually on the winning side. It happens to the right, it does. It happens to the left. At the moment, it's happening to the left more than the right. And how do I know? Reuters Ipsos. This is the way that both sides try to pierce their partisan bubbles. That actually right now is the value of polling more than anything else. Polling is far less accurate than it used to be. The individual numbers are no longer that important. What's important are the trend lines and the polling averages. If you're a new listener to the program, we've grown tremendously just in the last 6 months. We're now on over 70 stations coast to coast. We'll be on starting next week, we'll be on in Kansas. We'll be on in Pennsylvania here shortly. We're growing. If you're a new listener, understand I was a lawyer. I was an elected official. I was a political consultant. I ran political races around the country. I did the mail. I did the TV and radio ads. I did the polling. I was a jack of all trades, master of none. I started off as a lawyer, as a campaign finance lawyer for candidates, and wound up doing campaign management, and then became a consultant. And I would run races around the country, and I would tell the candidates, know when you think you're the majority, or know when you think you're right, or know when you're in the minority, even when you think you're right. You gotta, if you stake out a firmly held position, I have to do this to myself now on radio, oftentimes with you guys, where I really think I'm right about something and y'all think I'm wrong. I got to be able to talk to you and understand, like, I know you guys think I'm wrong here, but hear me out. Oftentimes, candidates get inside bubbles and echo chambers. They're surrounded by staffers who don't want to question them. You saw it in the Biden White House. And you got to tell them, Mr. President, you're actually not in the majority on this issue. People disagree with you. Majority of people disagree with you. The Democrats didn't want to do that. Donald Trump, sometimes his staff don't want to do it to him. It's very important when you understand that you're in the minority. You think you're right, but the people think you're wrong. And that suggests you can reframe your message. For all of Dick Morris's faults, and I think Dick Morris has many, and I'm kind of aghast when people today cite Dick Morris for anything credible. Dick Morris back in the day was a brilliant political operative and a great pollster, and he told Bill Clinton hired Dick Morris. It's kind of funny he's now considered to be on the right. Bill Clinton hired Dick Morris, and Dick Morris told Bill Clinton that polling is inductive reasoning, not deductive reasoning. And in polling, your job is not to find out where people are in order to take that side of an issue. Your job is to find out how to talk to voters about what you already want to do. You want to do something that's unpopular? Okay. Figure out how to make it popular with polling. Friends, I have the Reuters polling, and the Democrats are failing in their bubble. They've convinced themselves not only that they're right, but they've convinced themselves they're in the majority. Because you have CBS and ABC and NBC. You have PBS and NPR. You've got CNN and MSNBC. You've got the New York Times, the Washington Post, and the USA Today, all of them telling Democrats that their poop doesn't stink and they are righteous. And the public increasingly gets their news from less biased sources. And what does the Reuters Ipsos polling find? Which party has a better plan to deal with crime? Republicans lead by 20. Which party has a better plan to tackle immigration? Republicans lead by 18. Which party has a better plan to deal with foreign conflicts? Republicans up by 12. Which party has a better plan for the economy? Republicans by 10. Which party has a better plan to tackle government corruption? Republicans by 6. Which party has a better plan to deal with gun control? Republicans up by 4. Which party has a better plan to deal with political extremism? Republicans up by 4. Republicans up by 4. This comes before the ICE shooting. This comes after the Charlie Kirk assassination. Which party has a better plan to deal with political extremism? Republicans are winning on that argument. The one that actually blows my mind, because Democrats have now, for 8 years said Donald Trump's, 15 years. Donald Trump's the most corrupt SOB on planet Earth. His whole family's getting rich off government. It's a Ponzi scheme, a pyramid scheme. It's corruption, it's bribery, it's you name it. Which party has a better plan to tackle government corruption? The Republicans win by 6. Outside the margin of error in the poll. Republicans win by 6. Immigration, foreign conflicts, the economy, crime, the big issues, Republicans are winning by double digits. The messaging issues for the Democrats, political extremism, gun control, corruption, Republicans are winning on all of those. You know, the respect for democracy, Democrats are up by 2. That's within the margin of error. Ironically, you know where Democrats do best? Which party has a better plan for women's rights? The Democrats. And the irony there is Democrats can't even tell you what a woman is, and yet they're winning that poll issue. Democrats can't tell you what a woman is or who can get pregnant, but they're winning on women's rights, which is basically people hear women's rights and it's code for abortion. Which party is leading the way for killing kids? Yes, Democrats are winning on killing kids. They don't even realize it. They're blasting the GOP for extremism. They're blasting the GOP for corruption, and Republicans are winning on those issues with the public because on MSNBC, the Democrats are told they don't need to do anything differently. Think about Joe Scarborough on MSNBC in the mornings gently nudging Democrats on the issues of crime, and none of them are having it. He had on the mayor of Chicago asking if more police would be good for Chicago. The mayor refuses to say yes. Addicts have to recognize they have a problem before they get help. That's oftentimes when people have interventions. My son is a big fan of John Mulaney, the comedian. John Mulaney is a very funny comedian who had a very serious drug addiction. And he does one of his stand-up routines on the intervention that he had. All these great and funny people who show up, and they're all there to tell John Mulaney he has got to go to rehab, and they are taking him that night, and he does not want to go. He doesn't realize he's got a problem, and he is forced to go to rehab by his friends and family. And only while there does he realize he has a real problem. And I hope the man stays drug-free. My son adores that guy's comedy. We're going to see him when he comes to Atlanta at the Fox in a few months. Democrats need rehab. Democrats need an intervention. The problem for the Democratic Party, though, is who's going to give them the intervention. On MSNBC, this ICE shooter this morning, they're talking about he was probably inspired by the right as opposed to being inspired by Luigi Mangione, who the left cheered for. On social media, progressive reporters are saying, this guy, there's no way he was left-wing. They still deny Tyler Robinson was on the left. They don't want to do it. And the other side of the Democrats have turned violent. If you speak up and you're a Democrat, you could get shot. There's no one on the left in the media to tell the Democrats they have a problem and they need help. Chuck Schumer is scared of them. Hakeem Jeffries is scared of them. All they've got is The Atlantic politely suggesting they might have a little bit more of a problem with political violence than they thought. Where are Bill Clinton and Barack Obama? Even they, who have nothing to lose, want to stand up and tell the Democratic Party, you have serious problems. You would think to stop Trump, they would want to stand up, at least Barack Obama would, and tell the Democrats the truth. But he can't because he's the one who for years encouraged the Democrats to go down the path that has led them to violence. The chickens for the Democrats, to quote Barack Obama's friend Jeremiah Wright, are coming home to roost.
When the truth seems hazy, Eric will clear the way. It's the Eric Erickson Show.
150 Cool Day Carrier, WSB 24-hour traffic center. Watching some brake lights in the Midtown and downtown, southbound as you approach 17th Street down toward North Avenue. Right lane construction continues northbound, 75-85 before University Avenue. Travel advisory into Kennesaw with the right lane construction, 75 north at Chastain Road. Use Highway 41 or the express lanes. Traffic brought to you by True Natural Gas. Bigfoot probably isn't true. He certainly isn't local. To see something both local and true, visit TrueNaturalGas.com. They're a local company with honest pricing and truly low rates. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
Alabama is coming into Athens to battle the Bulldogs.
I'll tell you, it's been a great matchup.
Tune in Saturday as number 5 Georgia faces off with the 17th ranked Crimson Tide.
Their quarterback is hot. He's hot as a firecracker.
Catch all the pregame coverage starting Saturday at 3:30.
They're playing really well this year.
Only on your home of the Dogs, 95.5 WSB. Brought to you in part by Hoffman Financial Group, official partner of the Georgia Bulldogs.
Y'all, it's Eric. Windows 10 is sunsetting. End of support on October 14th of this year. It's also my anniversary. No end of support for my marriage, just end of support for your computer if you're on Windows 10. You got to update. Now, what does that mean, end of support? It means Microsoft is going to stop issuing security patches for your computer if you're on Windows 10. So you actually do need to update for your own good and safety, and Vision Computers can help you transfer to Windows 11. How do you do it? You call them at 404-COMPUTE and say, Eric sent you, I need some help. They can get you upgraded to Windows 11. It is for your own good and safety and that of your company that you move to Windows 11 because of the security updates, if nothing else. So call Vision Computer at 404-COMPUTE or go to visioncomputers.com. Tell them Eric sent you. You might be able to save some money. You got to get it done before October 14th. Because you're not going to get security patches from Microsoft after that for Windows 10. Let Vision Computer take care of you. 404-COMPUTER, visioncomputers.com.
Passion. It's the difference between getting it done and being exceptional. For your home's exterior renovation, hire a company passionate about your project. Trust the Plus. Painting Plus.
Hi, I'm Charlie. My passion for high-quality remodeling began when I started my business at just 15. Now we have grown to the Plus family of businesses. If you hear the Plus, it's us.
If your home's exterior has it, the Plus can improve it. Painting Plus. Siding, gutters, windows, decks, porches, roofing, and more. Trust the Plus. PaintingPlus.com.
Dave Baker for Beaver Toyota of Cumming. Looking for a new truck and looking for a great deal? Simply go to beavertoyotacumming.com/Dave's Deals and save money on a new Toyota Tundra. The Toyota Tundra from Beaver Toyota of Cumming is the official truck of the Home Fix-It Show.
Coming up from the Atlanta Symphony Orchestra, presenting a Delta Classical concert featuring Natalie Stutzman, opening the season with music by Copland and Strauss. October 3rd through 5th at Symphony Hall. Details at aso.org.
WSB Atlanta, WSB BFM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Let me teach you some physics. In a great big wind, the bigger and flatter the object, the more force the wind creates. Surface area times the square of the hypotenuse times wind speed divided by E = mc², or some kind of math. Doesn't matter. But when storm season hits, your garage door is just standing there waiting for wind and physics to break it or dent it or send the whole thing flying down the street. And that, my friends, is science. At Mo Better Garage, we make that way mo better. Modern wind-rated doors are built to withstand the forces of nature. Composite materials are stronger than the cheap old aluminum door that came with your house. And the tracks and rollers won't bend under the stress. It keeps your car safe and your insurance premiums low. Call Mo Better Garage and we'll make sure you're ready. And stay in school, kids.
Mo Better Garage, we make it way more better.
MoBetterGarage.com.
Your non-stop news source. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
So I was looking up Mustang, Oklahoma. Brian, our last caller, is from Mustang outside Oklahoma City, and discovered they have something called Brahms Ice Cream and Dairy. And I made the mistake of looking up their website, and I guess I need to go to Oklahoma City and eat at Brahms. That looks like really good ice cream. Big ice cream fan. I have my wife and kids bought me an ice cream maker a couple of years ago, and it's got the compressor built into it, so I can turn out like 2 pints of ice cream in like 15 minutes. Oh, I make a really good salted caramel ice cream. Just gonna say that. Speaking of, let's go. Brian in Jacksonville, Florida. You're going to be up next. Welcome to the show, sir. How are you?
Good. How are you? Thank you.
Sure. What's going on?
So I don't know anybody with a Weber slate. So the only person I've heard talk about it is you. And I was just wondering if it really is that much better than like traditional Blackstone or Blue Rhino Razor.
Ironically, Blackstone and Weber now have merged. I think private equity now, the same company owns them both. But I had a Blackstone for 4 years and barely ever used it because the newer build Blackstones, in my experience, heat very unevenly. Correct. And the curing can be a problem. And I hated my Blackstone. I didn't like the drip tray being in the back. I just thought it was not a good design. So I decided, I pulled it down to the curb. I got a Weber slate. I have used it probably twice a week, every week since I bought it. I love the slate. It heats edge to edge to edge to edge completely evenly. The drip tray is actually built into the inside of it, and you can rake right on the griddle to get it in. It is such a well-designed product. It's lighter, it's better built, it's better construction. I am a massive fan of my Weber slate. I'm so glad I got rid of the Blackstone. And now they're the same company, but the slate, if you've got a choice between the two, go with the Weber slate. So much better product. Now, I gotta move on. Where are we going now, Kobe? I couldn't. Swiss America, tell you about Swiss America, because there's a secret war on cash. Now, a lot of people are asking, what is the secret war on cash? The government, and you know this from your personal experience, they don't like you using cash, and now they're going after crypto as well. They don't want you using gold. They don't want you using precious metals. They don't want you using cash because it's hard to track. And as well, within cash now, they're trying to be able to find ways through how they print our paper money supply to be able to track your purchases that way. They're trying to spy on you. Swiss America wants to explain to you what the secret war on cash is. You can get their free report by calling or texting 800-289-2646. 800-289-2646. Mention my name, Eric. You can even just text Eric to 800-289-2646, or you can go to SwissAmerica.com/Eric, SwissAmerica.com/ERICK. Message and data rates may apply.
If it's happening on the streets of Atlanta.
After suspect refuses to exit home on Summer Chase Drive.
If it's happening on the roads leading to Atlanta.
Looks to be a tanker truck crashed into the median on the jam cam.
95.5 WSB has you
The
covered.
major culprits squeezing household budgets for auto insurance, gasoline, and utilities.
Your 24/7 news source. Tune in throughout the day to stay up to date.
95.5 WSB,
Atlanta's breaking news station.
You worked hard for your 401k, but if you've left your job,
your money might be sitting in the wrong hands. I'm Jeff Jr. with Trajan Wealth, and it's very possible that the 401k that you have had for years has hidden fees and limited investment choices. But if you're no longer with the company, that 401k may be at the mercy of your former employer. All of these things could be costing you thousands. Rolling over your 401k into an IRA can provide better investment options that align with your long-term goals. At Trajan Wealth, we're fiduciary advisors that are held to a higher standard with no hidden agenda and no hidden fees. Don't let your retirement dollars sit in an old plan, and don't roll it over to your new plan without consulting Trajan Wealth first. Call 404-390-4000. That's 404-390-4000.
Advisory services are offered through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor.
News, weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
At 2 o'clock, I'm Bill Caiaccio with our top local story. The NAACP calls for more education after fans show up at a volleyball game at Whitewater High School in blackface. Members of the Fayette County School Board meet today with local NAACP leaders. Here's a report all new at 2 o'clock.
Fayette County NAACP President Kevin Pratt says the meeting was in no way hostile, but a coming together of minds to ensure nothing like this happens again.
We wanted them to apply appropriate consequences for students and staff that involve acts of racism, intimidation, or cultural insensitivity.
Pratt says he discovered that many social media posts indicated people did not realize blackface was offensive. So Pratt says education about cultural offenses needs to be done to prevent hurting a portion of the community. Lisa Nicholas, 95.5 WSB.
89 degrees in Atlanta. Scattered rain showers around through this evening. Meteorologist Christina Edwards has Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast coming up. 2 ICE detainees are dead. Another is in critical condition after a shooter opens fire on an ICE facility in Dallas. The shooter dies from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. The FBI's Joe Rothrock says they are investigating the shooting as an act of targeted violence.
Early evidence that we've seen from rounds that were found near the suspected shooter contain messages that are anti-ICE in nature.
No ICE agents are injured in the shooting. Cobb police are investigating after a 9-month-old girl is shot and killed at a motel near Truist Park. Police say it happened at the Budgetel Inn on Circle 75 Parkway. A woman says her baby girl was struck by gunfire. The little girl was pronounced dead at the scene. Police are now working to identify a suspect. They're asking anyone with information to give them a call. We're hearing today from a 75-year-old man who was attacked by pit bulls in his Clayton County neighborhood. Paul Jordan tells us the extent of his injuries.
The owner came out and called him off, but I ended up getting 6 stitches in my ear, and I have bruises on my cheek and some bruises on my back and my 2 elbows.
Neighbors in the Lake Forest subdivision say they already have a leash law in place, but they want to add restrictions to the neighborhood bylaws, including limiting the number of dogs per home. Georgia is named once again the #1 state in the nation to do business by Area Development Magazine. It is the 12th year in a row Georgia has been named tops for business. Governor Kemp says it's a reflection of the sustained commitment we have to excellence and a team approach to economic development. It is now 2:02. This news sponsored by Brett Beckers. Up next, live team coverage of traffic and weather.
Want to love your deck so much that you don't even want to go on vacation? Hi, I'm Scott Nelson, owner of Nelson Exteriors, and your new deck will be your family's favorite staycation. We do decks differently. Beautiful high-end decks at a reasonable price, materials you choose, and lots of options. With Nelson Exteriors, you'll get a high-quality, affordable, custom deck, handcrafted by our licensed and insured experts. For an extraordinary deck renovation, Google Nelson Exteriors.
Having trouble getting in to see the doctor? Wait no longer. All Care is here. All Care is expert immediate care and primary care under a single roof, offering convenience and continuity for your healthcare needs at 15 Atlanta area locations. And best of all, we are fully staffed and ready for you when you need us. Same-day appointments are available and walk-ins are welcomed. Or schedule an appointment at allcare-ga.com. Say goodbye to waiting to see the doctor and say hello to All Care, a proud member of the Piedmont Integrated Network Clinic.
It's been a year since the last presidential election, and the economy has been on a roller coaster ever since. If you're in the home stretch, looking towards retirement, you may be feeling more anxious than ever about what the next few years could mean for your money. It's Eric Erickson here. If you're over 50 and have $500,000 or more saved for retirement, join me and fellow WSB radio show host, frequent guest on Fox Business with Stuart Varney and Charles Payne, David Nicholas of Nicholas Wealth Management, for a special live event Tuesday, October 7th at 6 p.m. at the Marietta Country Club. We'll break down what the post-election economy means for your retirement and the opportunities and risks that could impact you over the next year. Seating is very limited, so bring a spouse or a friend, enjoy food and drinks, and receive information that may help preserve your future. This is a registration-only event. Call 404-890-5606 or visit nicholaswealth.com to reserve your spot. Again, it's me, Eric Erickson, with David Nicholas, Tuesday, October 7th at 6 p.m. at Marietta Country Club. Don't miss it. Call 404-890-5606 or go to nicholaswealth.com. That's 404-890-5606 or nicholaswealth.com.
Nicholas Wealth Management is an independent financial services firm and uses a variety of different investment strategies. This is prepared for informational purposes only. It does not address specific investment objectives or the financial situation and particular needs of any person who listens to the show. Eric Erickson is a current client and is paid for this ad.
It is 2:05, time for live team coverage of traffic and weather in the 24-hour traffic center. Alex Williams.
Hey, good afternoon, Bill. Not so good up in Marietta and Kennesaw because of that right lane construction that continues. 75 North Chastain Road, exit 271. You're stacked up back through Marietta. You can use Highway 41 Cobb Parkway or the express lanes with a Peach Pass. Also seeing brake lights, 285 northbound, the inner loop between Cascade Road, exit 7, and Martin Luther King Jr. Drive, exit 9. We're going to see if anything is going on over there. And better news into DeKalb County out toward Lithonia. Construction cleared out of the left lane, 20 eastbound past Panola Road, exit 71. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Increasing cloud cover this afternoon with a high near 90. Scattered rain showers and thunderstorms arrive later this evening.
And Storm Tracker radar showing some scattered rain showers are now around the metro area. It is 89 in Lawrenceville, 90 in Hampton, 86 in Canton. More news at 2:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Bill Caiaccio, 95.5 WSB.
It's the WSB 5K a day bonus blitz. This hour's keyword is drive. D-R-I-V-E.
Now shut up and drive.
Go to the WSB radio app or WSBradio.com/cash for your chance to win. Again, that keyword is drive. Join me live at 3 for the Von Hessler Doctrine, and I'll have your next keyword and chance to win at 5 p.m.
The other one I like besides the Weber Slate is the Rectech. Get a Rectech. Don't get a Traeger. Traeger's a cheaper build. Rectech is phenomenal. They're made in Augusta, Georgia, and they're just great people. It's a pellet grill, gets hot. It just, my buddy Joe, program director over at KPEL in Lafayette, got one. I lured him into my cult. I love my Rectech smoker. I used to have a big green egg. I used to do the full thing, and then I was like, you know what? I just want something I can push the button and turn it on, and I don't have to keep fighting it for an hour to get it to temperature. And, man, I get great results with it. The Slate, the Weber. And then I've also got a professional. I don't have an outdoor kitchen. I'm not rich enough to have an outdoor kitchen. I just have everything piled in the backyard, much to my wife's chagrin. I did years ago buy a professional grill. It's called the DCS, made in New Zealand. It is, I've had this thing now for 12 years, and it works just as good as it did 12 years ago. Gets up to 1,500 to 2,000 degrees, can sear a steak corner to corner. It's fantastic. It has a 50-pound rotisserie. Although the rotisserie is broken. At some point, it's starting to get old. I need a new DCS, but they are super expensive. My wife has no idea how much I paid for this thing, or that I might have been irresponsible and used the home equity line on the house to actually buy it years ago. I didn't just say that on radio. I love my grill. Now, we must move on. Yeah, Dave Ramsey, please don't shoot me. We got to move on to the president and Ukraine because there has been a dramatic shift with that. But first, we got to have a lighthearted moment here. And I'm going to put this on live stream. I'm live streaming on Twitter for those of you who can see it on Twitter through my flagship station. If you follow me on Twitter, you see the live stream, and this is too funny not to share. The President of the United States has ordered his staff to put a essentially Hall of Presidents. When you walk the colonnade from the White House over to the West Wing, that's outside by the Rose Garden, and there are now portraits of every single president lining the colonnade there. And the White House has released this video from George Washington all the way to 2 pictures of Donald Trump. Sandwiched between Donald Trump's images is Joe Biden's presidential portrait, which is actually of the Otto pin. Yes. When you look at the portraits of all the presidents from George Washington all the way down, you get to George W. Bush, and you're starting to go up the steps of the West Wing. So they're getting higher and higher. George W. Bush, and then Barack Obama, and then Donald Trump, and then the Otto pin of Joe Biden's signature, and then another picture of Donald Trump. It's actually very, very well done. Now, we got to talk about Ukraine, because it's actually a pretty big shift for this White House. I have said all along, much to the chagrin, you should understand, of friends of mine who hate Donald Trump. And I have dug my heels in for a very long time on this. Donald Trump, contrary to what so many people who hate Donald Trump believe, has never been the friend of Russia that they wanted you to believe. We got to step back a little bit on this, because this is very important that you understand this. You see, the left could not accept that Hillary Clinton lost to Donald Trump. So they had to invent a fictitious mythology to explain it. They could not get Icarus flying too close to the sun that the wings melt and he fell out of the sky. They had to get Vladimir Putin paid for Donald Trump and had a P-tape blackmail so that he was a Russian agent. That's the only way he could have beaten Hillary Clinton, is if it was the Russians. They could not acknowledge, and notice how that's now faded because he's won the popular vote this time. They can't go with the Russian thing, but they still believe, just as the left will always believe Tyler Robinson was on the right and the shooter in Texas who killed the illegal immigrant had to be a white nationalist, they will never, ever be able to process that Donald Trump actually beat their beloved Hillary Clinton. It had to be the Russians. Had to be the Russians. So when Donald Trump takes office his first time, he did more sanctions on the Russians than Barack Obama ever did. He threw more Russian diplomats out of the country than Barack Obama ever did. He took a tougher line on the Russians than Barack Obama ever did. And he even mocked Hillary Clinton, giving the Russians a reset button with a relationship that never actually reset. They can't handle that he was harder on Russia than they were. And the result was that Vladimir Putin never invaded Ukraine when Donald Trump was president. They invaded Ukraine when Barack Obama was president and took Crimea. And if I'm really honest with you, I think might as well give them Crimea. Their navy was there. Historically, it was Russian territory. Give them Crimea. But then when Joe Biden became president, they invaded again. They never invaded when Trump was president. And the left has concocted a mythology, oh, they didn't need to, Donald Trump was given what they want, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, except it doesn't hold water under inspection. And I have said this entire time that Trump came into the White House, that what Trump was trying to do with Russia was trying to signal by his attacking Volodymyr Zelensky, by his questioning Ukraine, by his refusing to give Ukraine arms. What they were trying to do at the White House was trying to signal to the Russians, there's a new sheriff in town. You don't have to be standoffish. You can actually sit down and negotiate, and we will seek peace. He had Vladimir Putin come to Alaska and flew the B-2 bomber over his head only a couple weeks after it dropped bunker busters on Iran. And still the left won't be persuaded he's anything other than a pawn of Russia. Last night, I guess it was, or late yesterday afternoon, right after I got off the air. Of course, he waited until after I got off the air, 3:01 p.m. That's what Donald Trump tweeted. After getting to know and fully understand the Ukraine-Russia military and economic situation, and after seeing the economic trouble it is causing Russia, I think Ukraine, with the support of the European Union, is in a position to fight and win all of Ukraine back in its original form. Massive departure from what he was saying, that they would have to give up land. With time, patience, and the financial support of Europe, and in particular NATO, the original borders from where this war started is very much an option. Why not? Russia has been fighting aimlessly for 3.5 years, a war that should have taken a real military power less than a week to win. This is not distinguishing Russia. In fact, it is very much making them look like a paper tiger. When the people living in Moscow and all the great cities, towns, and districts all throughout Russia find out what is really going on with this war, the fact that it's almost impossible for them to get gasoline through the long lines that are being formed, and all of the other things that are taking place in their war economy, where most of their money is being spent on fighting Ukraine, which has great spirit and only getting better, Ukraine would be able to take back their country in its original form, and who knows, maybe even go further than that. Putin and Russia are in big economic trouble, and this is the time for Ukraine to act. In any event, I wish both countries well. We will continue to supply weapons to NATO for NATO to do with as they want. Good luck to all. Donald J. Trump, President of the United States of America. I'm only disappointed he didn't end with, thank you for your attention to this matter. Essentially, he's signaling we are done. We're no more peace deals, no more trying to get peace deals. We're going to let them fight, and we will be the arsenal of democracy yet again. We will continue to supply weapons to NATO for NATO to do what they want with them. Key language there. The NATO allies will be buying our weapons and giving them to Ukraine. This is great for Boeing and Lockheed and Raytheon and all the other American weapons manufacturers out there. Good business. The isolationists are upset. They shouldn't be. Trump is structuring it in such a way that we're not going to send our troops to Ukraine. We're just going to send our weapons to NATO allies, and they can send them to Ukraine. Major policy shift here. Volodymyr Zelensky was in town for the United Nations. He sat down with Brett Baer yesterday.
They say that they want peace, but it's not true.
Since that time, he also has gone into other NATO countries. 3 jets into Estonia, drones into Poland. Do you think that's part of a plan? Today, President Trump said those NATO allies should shoot down those planes and drones.
Denmark was yesterday Denmark.
Yes.
Baltics, Nordics, Romania already, a lot of countries. So what Putin is doing for today, he is, first of all, his signals to NATO. He wants to feel how they can defend their countries, and he feels that they can't. Not enough air defense. They are not well trained. It's understandable. They are very good professional guys, but they don't have war. Russia in this war more than 10 years.
So if these attacks are increasing, if these excursions and intrusions into other NATO countries are increasing, what do you think it's going to take to change Putin's mind that he can't win militarily or that this war needs to come to an end?
I think he wants it. He wants to go to other territories. As I said to my colleagues, I said them 1 year ago, look, don't wait when he will finish the war in Ukraine and he will continue somewhere. He can continue somewhere, not finishing in Ukraine. Because he understands that he needs for his war machine, for his factories, for his close circle of businessmen who are in defending military sector, have money, big money. He wants to show that they will continue. And that's why he postponed meetings, any kind of meetings on the level of leaders with me. Trilateral, bilateral, doesn't matter how many leaders.
Listen, I have long supported Ukraine in this. I'm glad the president is now there. I have long said we did not need to send our sons and daughters to Ukraine to kill the Russians. Just let the Ukrainians kill the Russians. They've proven to be quite effective at killing the Russians. Vladimir Putin has at this point overplayed his hand, and he has made a mockery to a degree of the president of the United States, who extended a hand of friendship in exchange for peace and got back a middle finger. I got to tell you something. The president tweeted at 3:01 p.m. yesterday that Russia clearly doesn't want peace, and if Ukraine wants to take back all of its territory, go for it, and he's going to keep selling arms to NATO. I do not think it is a coincidence at all the president of the United States had such an abrupt change towards Ukraine yesterday And it comes on the heels of the Secret Service finding the thousands of cell phone servers and 100,000 SIM cards in New York City surrounding the United Nations within a 35-mile radius. I don't think it's a coincidence at all. This is informed speculation on my part. Speculation, but it is informed by talking to senior people with knowledge and information related to the terror plot. The Secret Service disrupts this massive, what would have been a cyber terrorism attack on the cell service in New York City. And some hours later, the President of the United States has a dramatic shift in his view on Russia. I suspect the two are related. I have reason, based on conversations, to believe they are related. I think the Russians well overstepped and overplayed. They have sent incursions into Poland and Romania and Denmark and Finland and Norway. They have harassed NATO allies. They have sent drones. They have caused sabotage in European nations. And now suddenly we find this massive plot to disrupt cell networks in New York City as the United Nations is meeting, which would have given Donald Trump a black eye had it happened. And the Secret Service disrupted it. And suddenly he dramatically changes his position on Russia. I think that inside the administration, they suspect the Russians were the ones behind what they uncovered in New York yesterday, and that has finally persuaded the president the Russians are not in this for peace. They are in it for war, and he aims to give them what they want by providing arms to Ukraine that they can use to take out the Russians, which is a good thing.
Follow Eric on X, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Rumble. Search EW Erickson.
220 Cool Rate Carrier, WSB 24-hour traffic center. Travel advisory on the west side Interloop. Crash, 2 right lanes, 285 northbound the Interloop, just past Cascade Road, exit 7. Already slow back to Highway 166, Langford Parkway. And the travel advisory continues 75 north through Marietta and Kennesaw due to right lane construction at Chastain Road. Traffic brought to you by YRefi.com. Is private student loan debt ruining your life? It doesn't have to. Just go to YRefi.com. That's YREFY.com and get your life back. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
It's the WSB 5K a day bonus blitz. This hour's keyword is drive. D-R-I-V-E.
Now shut up and drive.
Go to the WSB Radio app or WSBRadio.com/cash for your chance to win. Again, that keyword is drive. Join me live at 3 for the Von Hessler Doctrine, and I'll have your next keyword and chance to win at 5 p.m.
If your floors feel bouncy and uneven, it's time for AquaGuard Foundation Solutions Crawl Space Experts. Simply go to aquaguard.net and set up an appointment. It's fast and it's easy, and your floors will appreciate you. AquaGuard, the trusted local experts. Remember, AquaGuard.
I'm here with Chris Hoffman, the founder of Hoffman Financial Group and host of Money Unleashed. Chris, with all the things we're reading, seeing, and living through these days, from rate cuts, election season, and now a new administration, now seems like a great time to make sure we have that comprehensive plan in place, you know, the one that covers all our financial bases.
There are occasions throughout the year where I feel like it's critical for people to engage their financial lives and get the information that they deserve from a financial advisory team. And this is one of those times, to be quite frank. So we ask that you call us if you have a minimum of $500,000 in your full portfolio. But we're going to do away with that minimum so that those folks can have an equal opportunity to understand what's in their portfolio as well. Now, you have to have some money, right? I can't help you to build your wealth at work, right? But I sure can help, I believe, with your 401k, IRA management. There's probably 2 or 3 things that'll surprise you that you may want to take action on. So the next 10 people that call in will work up either a portfolio x-ray, or if you feel like you need a full retirement plan, go to unleashyourmoney.com, click on portfolio x-ray, or click on full retirement plan. We think you'll be impressed enough, and we want you to become a client. There's no question about it. We believe that we are a very competent fiduciary advisory team, and we want to offer that to our listeners. Let Hoffman Financial Group actually show you how we perform, and I believe we perform at the pinnacle of this industry.
Call the Hoffman Financial Group at 404-737-3858, 404-737-3858, or online at unleashyourmoney.com. Investment advisory services offered through Brookstone Wealth Advisors, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Hoffman Financial Group Incorporated, Georgia Insurance License number 163546.
Hey, skip the hassles of traditional home sales and sell your home quickly with the guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate. Now, there's no showings, no open houses, and that means no stress for you. Hey, your friend Sean Hannity here. With the guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate, you can skip the stress, make the most money, and close in as little as 21 days. Just go to markspain.com, get your guaranteed offer on your home today. That's markspain.com, and start packing.
Belinda here with another satisfied patient with a great story to tell you about Atlanta Vision Institute. Lisa had the laser optics procedure. Why did you choose Atlanta Vision Institute?
Well, I'd been wearing contacts or glasses for the last 50 years and decided one day that I'd had enough. I have an active lifestyle and the glasses just were getting in the way.
Now, after the procedure with Dr. Ashraf at Atlanta Vision Institute, what were the results like?
It was amazing. I could see the highway signs from far away, and I was able to thread the needle on my sewing machine without any help.
Nobody can do that. That's amazing. Folks, if you feel like you're at your wit's end with your vision, why don't you go see Dr. Ashraf at Atlanta Vision Institute? Go to 2020atlanta.com and see if you're a candidate for the laser optics procedure. Go to 2020atlanta.com.
At Butler Lexus of South Atlanta, buying a car is more than a transaction. It's a 5-star experience because they value you. Enjoy personalized offers and luxury perks, all designed with you in mind. Visit ButlerLexusSouthAtlanta.com or call 800-NEW-LEXUS today. Butler Lexus South Atlanta, the standard of amazing.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Go. Take Eric's podcast with you. Available wherever you stream your favorite podcast. Search Eric Erickson.
I need to play for you this clip of Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, who was on television last night. Very important you hear him refusing to lower the temperature after claiming to be deeply impacted by the assassination of Charlie Kirk and recognizing we needed to lower the temperature. He can't go there.
I fear that we will not have an election in 2028. I really mean that in the core of my soul, unless we wake up to the code red, what's happening in this country, and we wake up soberly to how serious this moment is.
The crowd goes wild there on Stephen Colbert. Gavin Newsom doesn't believe that. He's running for the election in 2028. But Gavin Newsom has to say stuff like that, because the left wants to hear it and hear the passion. Democrats can't tone down the rhetoric because they're afraid that they will be abandoned by the base, if not shot, for not being fighters enough. They're scared of their base. They have their tiger by the tail and they can't let go. Gavin Newsom is irresponsible in that rhetoric. We have now seen people shooting ICE agents on the left, shooting TV stations from the left, attempting to assassinate the president from the left, assassinating Charlie Kirk from the left, killing Israeli embassy staffers from the left. There's a violent poison on the left, and it is irresponsible for a leader of the Democratic Party, the governor of a state, to say, I fear we're not going to have an election in 2028, when only the most rabid, insane partisans believe stuff like that. Nobody else does. The Constitution has survived Woodrow Wilson. It will survive Donald Trump. There will be an election in 2028. He will be term limited and not on the ballot. But you can't admit the truth if you're a Democratic leader right now, because your base wants to be lied to, and in the process, you make it even more and more incendiary and ratchet it up and turn the left even more violent. That's on the Democrats, not on Donald Trump. Now, it's on you if you're having tech problems to call Vision Computer at 404-COMPUTE. Any one of you nationwide, including those of you out in Sacramento listening on KSTE, thank you for listening. You can call Vision Computer at 404-COMPUTE or go to visioncomputers.com, and they can build you computers. They can upgrade your computers, and they can be your managed IT service for any company in the United States, where your employees get a phone number they can call. Instead of having to file, either use an AI chat or an email to file a ticket, you actually call a phone number when you have a problem. 15 seconds or less, they answer the phone. So you get a live human being on the phone. You don't have to try to explain what's going on the email. They can remote in. They can fix your computer. They can answer questions for you, whatever you need. Printer support, email support, you name it. Call them at 404-COMPUTE. Tell them Eric sent you. You could save even more money. They're really good people to work with. Their customer service is fantastic. We have one of their computers in our house. I know how good their customer service is. If you're a company and you can't afford an in-house IT guy, Vision Computers is a no-brainer wherever you are in the United States. 404-COMPUTE or visioncomputers.com. Give them a call. Say Eric called, sent you.
He's the guy at the desk next to you.
It's not as bad as it could be.
He's your co-pilot for the ride home.
Hey, the ladies are at home. Let's smoke cigars.
Eric Von Haessler.
Some sort of cultural affirmation. Yes, I am this kind of man.
Today at 3.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk. Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
At 2:30, I'm Bill Caiaccio with our top story. 2 ICE detainees are dead. Another is in critical condition when a sniper opens fire at a Dallas ICE facility. The gunman died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Texas Senator Ted Cruz blames the shooting on politically charged rhetoric.
This is the third shooting in Texas directed at ICE or CBP.
No law enforcement officers are injured in the shooting. The local NAACP calls for action after fans show up in blackface at a volleyball game at Whitewater High School. Fayette County NAACP President Kevin Pratt says certain rules need to apply to anyone attending high school events.
Even though the code today extends just to students, there's no real provisions to give discipline for people attending events.
After meeting today with members of the Fayette County School Board, Pratt says many of the people involved did not even realize blackface was offensive, so he says there needs to be education about cultural offenses. The number of newborns with syphilis increases for the 12th year in a row. Nearly 4,000 cases reported to the CDC. The agency says newborn syphilis is a deadly but preventable consequence of the nation's ongoing sexually transmitted infectious epidemic. A special election now scheduled for November 18th to replace State Senator Jason Estevez, who is running for governor. Qualifying for the District 35 race begins next Monday. Early in-person voting will begin on Monday, October 27th. If a runoff is needed to settle the race, that will be held on December 16th. It is now 2:32. This news sponsored by FGA Roofing.
Motorcycle riders know that a distracted driver can knock you down. It's nice to know that Steel Horse Law can pick you back up. Hey, it's Eric Von Haessler for Steel Horse Law, the Stein and Karen Law Group. In the worst possible scenario, when someone causes you to lay your bike down, Steel Horse Law will get you the best possible settlement. Their name strikes fear in the heart of big insurance companies because Steel Horse Law is respected and will make them pay. Visit steelhorselaw.com.
When you're leaving the house, do you plead with your garage door? Please open, please open. Hi, I'm Dan Watkins, owner of All Four Seasons Garage and Entry Doors. Let us take that anxiety away with one quick call. Our highly trained technicians will get to the bottom of your garage door issues. It could be a simple repair, a malfunctioning opener, or maybe just needs a tune-up. But if it's time for your garage door to be replaced, we'll make that easy too with upfront pricing and free estimates. When trust matters, trust us. All, the number 4, Seasons Garages.com.
Attention men, does ED and PE have you down? Well, great news. Choice Men's Health has the latest breakthrough treatments that can get you up and running. Meet the specialist who is dedicated to helping you perform better than ever in the bedroom.
Hi, I'm Dr. Katz, Chief Medical Director at Choice Men's Health. Our custom treatment plans have a 98% success rate at improving ED and PE on your very first visit, even if Viagra and Cialis have failed. Regardless of your age and medical history, we are here and dedicated to help you regain your love life.
Don't wait. Call Choice Men's Health now. We are so confident we can help. For a limited time, we're offering to cover your first treatment for free. Call 400-1170. Call now to claim your free treatment. 404-400-1170. Results guaranteed on your first visit or it's free. 404-400-1170. Choice Men's Health, the only choice for your health.
Hey homeowners, it's Eric Erickson here. Do your windows and doors stick? Are you noticing cracks in the drywall or the brickwork? You might have a big problem. Serious issues need the serious experts at Engineered Solutions of Georgia. Their skills are unmatched, as are their foundation solutions. When these guys repair a problem, it's the last time you'll have to worry about it. Done once, done right. Start today with a free inspection. Go to ESOGrepair.com. That's ESOGrepair.com.
Dial 678 ESOG now.
At 2:34, Alex Williams in the traffic center.
And travel advisory continues on the west side. Interloop crash, 2 right lanes, 285 northbound. The Interloop just past Cascade Road, exit 7. Slow from Langford Parkway, head up through downtown as an alternate. Now DOT reporting a crash in 2 right lanes, 75 northbound at Delk Road, exit 261. We're scanning the jam cam for that. The heavy delays, though, start north of there at South Marietta Parkway up to the right lane construction at Chastain Road. Use Highway 41, Cobb Parkway, or the express lanes with a Peach Pass. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
Right now, Storm Tracker radar showing some scattered rain showers around the metro area. That will continue through this evening. 87 in Ackworth, 91 in Covington, 90 in Sonoya. More news at 3 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Bill Caiaccio, 95.5 WSB.
Hello, welcome. It is Eric Erickson here. The phone number, 877-973-7425. Should you wish to be on the program, I would be very, very happy to have you call in. Do not forget, please, that you can text Eric, E-R-I-C-K, to 33777 if you want to get the show notes, the live stream, the podcast, a whole lot more. The President of the United States has canceled a meeting with Democrats regarding a potential economic problem due to a shutdown. The President of the United States was willing to meet with Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer, but Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer are making demands that they make very clear they're not going to waver from. And the President saw no reason to go into a negotiation when the Democrats really weren't there to negotiate. They want a government shutdown unless Republicans extend COVID payments on health care. You're not going to hear this from the National Press Corps because the National Press Corps is in the tank for the Democrats. But here is the God's honest, cross my heart, hope to die truth about the Democrats. They extended a bunch of health care payments during COVID. And then they themselves voted repeatedly to cut those payments. But now that Republicans are in charge, Democrats wish to add the payments back in that they themselves voted to cut, claiming that they're fighting to preserve Obamacare. The Republican position has always been, let's do a clean continuing resolution. That is, no additional spending. And then we can discuss it once we've funded the government at the basic level to keep it from shutting down. But the Democrats can't do what they themselves have insisted must always be done, a clean continuing resolution. Because the Democrats have decided they must fight. They must show themselves that they are fighting for their base. They must show themselves that they themselves are the virtuous, righteous ones. The president has had enough. He's not going to negotiate with people who aren't negotiating in good faith. He's not going to negotiate with people who only want to negotiate because he is scared to death, or because they are scared to death of their base. The President of the United States has been on social media and said this: the Democrats want illegal aliens, many of them violent criminals, to receive free health care. The Democrats want $500 million to help radical left news outfits. The Democrats want to leave dead people on Medicaid and Social Security rolls so that criminals can continue to be allowed to receive that payment and steal the money. The Democrats want to cut billions of dollars from our once vulnerable rural hospitals, which we fixed by giving them the largest cash infusion ever. The Democrats want men playing in women's sports, transgender for everybody, open crimes, and perhaps most importantly of all, a 5-letter word, crime. They like it and we don't. And so many other things that will destroy America. We cannot let this happen. He also tweeted after reviewing the details of the unserious and ridiculous demands being made by the minority radical left Democrats in return for their votes to keep our thriving country open, I've decided that no meeting with the congressional leaders could possibly be productive. They are threatening to shut down the government of the United States unless they can have over $1 trillion in new spending to continue free health care for illegal aliens, a monumental cost, force taxpayers to fund transgender surgery for minors, have dead people in the Medicaid rolls, allow illegal alien criminals to steal billions of dollars in American taxpayer benefits, try to force our country to again open our borders to criminals, allow men to play in women's sports, and essentially create transgender operations for everybody. These radical left views and policies is what allowed me to win the presidential election, including all 7 swing states and the popular vote in a historic landslide. There are consequences to losing elections, but based on their letter to me, the Democrats haven't figured that out yet. They're trying to eliminate the popular $50 billion Rural Vulnerable Hospital Fund, which was passed with only Republican votes and proudly signed into law by me. The Democrats in Congress seem to have totally lost their way. They obviously have no idea what it means to put America first or to make America great again. All congressional Democrats want to do is enact radical left policies that nobody voted for. And on it goes. You know what? Donald Trump, the President of the United States, was shot by probably a progressive, though motive is still outstanding, but someone who wanted to shoot Donald Trump and no one else, which suggests he was progressive. Another, we know, progressive activist attempted to kill Donald Trump and was found guilty of the plot to assassinate Donald Trump yesterday. Donald Trump has literally taken a bullet from the left. Democrats, to this day, still deny what everybody saw happen live on TV. Quarter of an inch more, Donald Trump would have been dead. Democrats fear what happened to Donald Trump from their own side. The Democrats are willing to take this country off a cliff because they have to be seen as fighting for criminals and illegal aliens. The base expects them to fight for the criminals and the illegal aliens. Their base does. And Chuck Schumer coveted his leadership position relentlessly and now has it. And there's a story in Axios that it's actually becoming increasingly toxic among Senate candidates. Chuck Schumer is losing support among the Democrats who want to join his caucus. In Maine, 4 of the Democrats running to unseat the GOP's most vulnerable senator have already pledged not to support Schumer's leader. 3 other candidates refused to commit. In Illinois, the 3 leading Democrats vying to succeed Chuck Schumer's retiree number 2, Dick Durbin, say they're keeping their options open. And in Ruby Red, Iowa, where Democrats are eyeing a longer shot flip, 2 of the party's Senate candidates aren't mincing words. Hell no, Nathan Sage, one of the handful of Iowa Democrats vying to replace Joni Ernst, told Politico when asked if he'd back Schumer for leader. It's about time. He seems like he's starting to fight for us, Sage said. It's almost too late at this point. Schumer is running into a wall of resistance from a crop of largely insurgent Senate candidates in key races as he hustles to recruit a slate of strong contenders to compete across an unfavorable map. The American Press Corps, since Donald Trump got reelected, has insisted that Republican senators find the courage to defy Donald Trump. Not a single one of these members of the press have insisted that Chuck Schumer stand up to his base and defy them. The press corps is on the side of the radicals of the Democratic base who want Chuck Schumer shot if he doesn't fight. They want physical violence to happen. And don't believe me on that. I'm not being hyperbolic. I know some of you on the left think, oh, Erickson's making this up. No, my friends. Democratic members of Congress talked to Axios back in July, and several of them said that their base really does want Democrats to bleed as proof that they're fighting Donald Trump. They want Democrats to bleed physically, not metaphorically, physically, to show they're fighting Donald Trump. So the Democrats have to shut the government down. They think, they know, they expect that the American press corps will be on their side and will deflect and say, well, Republicans refused to negotiate. Donald Trump canceled the meeting. It's their fault. And the media is going to do that. But just think about this. The media has been on their side on corruption and everything else, and yet Republicans are winning the polling on who's better able to tackle corruption. Republicans are winning the polling on who's better able to respond to political violence, despite the National Press Corps echoing the Democrats' talking points that all these shooters are on the right. You know what's going to happen when the Democrats shut down the government? My good friend Russ Vought, the head of Office of Management and Budget, will be in charge. And it will be, for the average American, the least painful government shutdown we've ever seen. You know, when the Democrats are in the White House and Republicans are in Congress and the government shuts down, the Office of Management and Budget goes first for Parks and Rec, shut down the Smithsonian, shuts down the Lincoln Memorial. You can't even walk on the National Mall when a Democrat's in power and the government shuts down. We saw in 2019 with that government shut down, with Donald Trump in charge, that you could still go to Washington, you could go to the Smithsonian, you could go walk on the National Mall, you could do pretty much anything you wanted to do in D.C. unimpeded. You could get on a plane and travel, a train and travel, whatever you wanted. It was as if the government didn't matter. When Democrats are in charge, they want it as painful as possible. With Republicans in charge, it's going to be painful for the Democrats. The Office of Management and Budget will target the public sector unions, employees that are needless, duplicative. The public won't feel it, but the government sector will. The public unions will. The Democrats will feel it. Not you, not me, not the average American. The Republicans are going to make this shutdown so painful for Democratic constituencies that have wanted the fight, and no one else is going to feel it. I told the Boston Globe yesterday, a reporter for the Boston Globe called me and was asking about the government shutdown and my thoughts, and I have a friendship with Russ Vought, the OMB director. We've known each other for, 20 years now. And I said, if I were a Democrat thinking of shutting down the government, and Donald Trump is in the White House, I would pause and consider the implications of a government shutdown where Donald Trump gets to completely wield the levers of government in a shutdown. But if I were a Democrat in Congress thinking of voting to shut down the government, knowing it's not just Donald Trump in the White House, but it's Russ Vought at the Office of Management and Budget, I would have nightmares about what Russ Vought can do that the Democrats won't be able to undo when the government opens back up. The reporter kind of laughed and said, I haven't had anyone put it in the words you just put it in, but everyone has kind of suggested the same thing. You see, the Democrats in Washington, D.C., they don't want to shut down the government because they know what will happen. But they can't tell the base because the Democrats are trying to explain something that they can't see. It's like when the isolationists started talking about how great it would be if America pulled back and didn't manage the Western world. They can say it, and you've never experienced it, so they can tell you it's going to be great, and you can't really see it to see how bad it would be. The Democrats can tell their base, you don't want this government shutdown because of what Russ Vought will do, but they don't know. They've experienced government shutdowns before. They always blame the Republicans. Surely the Republicans will get the blame this time. They have no idea the trap they're walking into with the government shutdown. And the irony here is it's the Democrats who set the trap themselves. When I was a kid, my parents were building a gazebo and a wood-paneled fence in our backyard overseas, and someone kept stealing the boards at night. We didn't know who was stealing the lumber, and my next-door neighbor and I decided we would set a trap, and we dug a hole, and we put down a little board that had nails going up through it, and we figured the person would come walk to where the pile of lumber was. They would step into the hole and fall over and get a nail in the knee. We'd trap them. The next day we were playing soccer in the backyard, and I forgot about the hole and went down in the hole and got the nail right through my knee. Trap worked exactly as we planned, except I fell into my own trap. By the way, it turned out it was the next door neighbor's housekeeper who was stealing the lumber. The Democrats have dug a hole thinking that they're going to get Donald Trump stuck in the trap. They're going to fall into their own trap, just like I did when I was in 4th grade. They don't understand they're about to empower a man who, for reading pleasure, reads the federal budget. Russ is a nerd. I love him. He's a whiz at fantasy football. The only time in my life I have ever won a fantasy football championship, I let Russ pick the players for me, and I won, and I was thereafter banned from ever doing fantasy football again since I didn't even pick the team. I'm not good at fantasy football. He's a genius. I would be in Washington visiting, and Russ would walk around with a copy of the federal budget he was reading. He knows where the bodies are buried. He knows how to bury the bodies and how to dig them up. He knows how to hide the bodies. He knows what to do with the federal budget and with the federal government when it's shut down. And the Democrats are about to let that man wield a massive amount of power by being the person the federal government charges by law with managing, orchestrating, and overseeing a government shutdown. He is the one man Democrats should have nightmares about, being in charge of a government shutdown, and the Democrats are instead having nightmares about what will happen to them physically if they defy their base and allow the government to keep going. The Democrats built a trap for Republicans to fall into with a government shutdown, and the Democrats are about to fall into their own trap and watch the Office of Management and Budget do things the Democrats will not be able to undo once the government gets back open. And they'll scream all about Donald Trump refusing to meet with them. He's not going to care. And the Democratic base, when they realize they've lost, is going to become even more violent and unhinged, and not just against the right, but against their own Democratic leaders.
You're at the intersection of politics, news, culture, and current events. It's the Eric Erickson Show.
251 Coolray Carrier, WSB 24-hour traffic center. Travel advisory continues. West Side Interloop, 2 right lanes blocked. 285 northbound, the Interloop past Cascade Road, exit number 7. You can use 85 north to the downtown connector as an alternate. Elsewhere, traffic troopers called me about this, and I see it on a jam cam. Crash in the center lane and off to the right, 85 northbound before Shallowford Road, exit number 93. That's why you're slow from Claremont Road. And a crash moved off to the right, 75 north at Delk. Traffic brought to you by Whole Foods Market. Save 20% on no antibiotics ever. Beef chuck roast and stew meat with Prime through September 13th while supplies last. In store or online. Terms apply. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
On air,
Online,
on the app,
where you get your news.
is where you'll win.
Download the WSB radio app now and maybe win $1,000. Oh my God!
The WSB 5K a day bonus blitz.
5 words, 5 times a day, every weekday.
I just won $1,000.
Just enter the word at WSBradio.com or on the WSB radio app. The WSB 5K a day bonus blitz.
Your next chance to win is at 5 p.m.
Those wire shelves in your closet are just a ticking time bomb waiting to explode. Dave Baker for Artisan Custom Closets. At Artisan, we see it all the time. The wire shelves come crashing down. Clothes, shoes, bags are everywhere. It's a disaster zone. Save yourself before this happens to you. With a custom, spacious closet from Artisan, you'll never have to look at that clutter again. Your shoes, bags, clothes, accessories, all neatly organized and designed to stay that way. ArtisanCustomClosets.com.
Hi, I'm Becca, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. As an in-house designer, I can't wait for you to see our incredible selection of stylish and stackable rings. If you're shopping for your wedding bands, we have high-quality designs for every style and budget, from romantic to modern. If you're looking to add to a stack, your options are endless. Discover styles with clusters of gemstones, sleek all-metal designs, updated cigar bands, and signet rings perfect for an engraving. Because a friend knows you like options. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
This is Scott Slade, and nothing takes the place of time when it comes to spotting problems with your health, especially cancer. The earlier, the better. That's where virtual imaging comes in. Virtual imaging's LDCT body scan can be invaluable, giving you more time for you and your loved ones to take charge of your health. They can detect tumors as early as precancerous virtually anywhere in your body, and aneurysms you may not even know are there. Due to overwhelming demand for a limited time, their $995 core body scan offer has been extended. It's a $2,495 value. Early detection saves lives, and now it's more affordable than ever. Virtual Imaging has gotten such great response to this offer that they've opened up more times in both offices, but appointments will fill up fast, so don't wait. Some minimum requirements may apply. Early detection is your best protection. To schedule your virtual imaging $995 core body scan, call 770-678-SCAN. That's 770-678-SCAN. Or make an appointment by visiting their website at virtualimagingatl.com.
WSB Atlanta, WSB FM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Serving my country required sacrifice. Sacrifice that changed my life forever. I remember the day I came home. Because of my injuries, this house wasn't right for me anymore. I remember the narrow doorways, the small bathrooms, the shelves out of reach when in my wheelchair. Every day was full of obstacles. I felt trapped. I remember a better day, the day my family received a specially adapted custom home from Homes for Our Troops. That day changed everything. Now we have a safe and accessible home to enjoy the freedom I fought for. This place, our home, is exactly what we needed to rebuild our lives.
Homes for Our Troops builds and donates specially adapted custom homes nationwide for severely injured post 9/11 veterans and enables them to rebuild their lives. Join our mission at hfotusa.org.
All the news, weather, and traffic you need. 95.5 WSB.
You know, I told Charlie I would get the clip, and I did not get the clip, but I will tell you about it anyway. Rahm Emanuel was on CNN talking about Kamala Harris and Joe Biden and how Kamala Harris failed the test for picking a vice president. For those of you who don't know, Rahm Emanuel was Barack Obama's chief of staff and was intimately involved in the picking of Joe Biden for vice president, and also was involved with and talked to the Biden team about Joe Biden's search for a vice presidential nominee, was shut out of the process for Kamala Harris. He said the process is when you're the president, you're in a heated meeting in the cabinet room, you have no solution to something, and you can't think anymore, and you're tired of it, and you got to go back to the Oval Office and close the door, and you want to be left alone. Who is the person you would allow to come in and talk to you? Kamala Harris failed that when she picked Tim Walz. She had no comfort with him. She rushed it. She botched it. And essentially, now you even got at CNN, they're mocking Kamala Harris's disastrous presidential run. And finally, people are willing to say what the right has always known. She is a terrible candidate. But it took them this long to actually become honest about it. Now, I want to be honest with you. Old Glory Bank is actually my bank. I have a checking account and a savings account with them. I get a good interest rate on the savings account, even though I don't have a lot of money in my savings account there. But they're a great bank. They can be your bank. They can be your kids' bank. You can get a custodial account. It's an online bank. Your kids are great with online stuff. They need somewhere to park their cash. You can even deposit cash at Old Glory Bank, even though it's an online bank. You go to oldglorybank.com/Eric, oldglorybank.com/ERICK. If you're a veteran, they've got really good deals with you with some of their premium accounts they'll waive fees for. You can do mortgages, you can do car loans, you can do CDs, you can do business accounts. They're by conservatives for conservatives. They are committed to the freedoms of the founders. They're committed to your freedom of banking in this country. You're not going to get blocked from purchasing a gun with your bank account. They believe in the Second Amendment, the First Amendment, and all the amendments. Go to oldglorybank.com/Eric today. oldglorybank.com/ERICK. Find out more from Old Glory Bank. They really are my bank. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. Terms and conditions apply.
Don't be late because you crowdsourced your commute with a navigation app.
This might become a travel advisory. Yeah, they're in 2 left lanes.
Depend on us.
See some delays if they shut that ramp down.
Make sure you get where you need to be on time.
Jam starting at Langford Parkway, getting past Spring Street.
Local and dependable traffic 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
We had a lot going on this morning through Henry County.
WSB Triple Team Traffic.
95.5 WSB. How Atlanta gets there. WSB consumer expert Clark Howard.
There are a lot of apps we can use that may give loved ones our location and things like that. And I got something really fishy to tell you. These apps that may be available to you for free, how are they making their money? You may assume it's with ads you see pop up, and that's it in part. But also, a lot of apps are now selling off your driver behavior because they're tracking how you're driving, how much lane changing you're doing, how much jackrabbit starting and stopping you're doing, and then they're selling that to industry. And it's in their terms of service. So when there's an app that you can use out and about that seems really cool and you're not paying for it, know that you're paying for it another way by being spied on, maybe. I'm Clark Howard.
News, weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB. Atlanta's News and Talk.
At 3 o'clock, I'm Bill Caiaccio with our top local story, a discussion on racism today in Fayette County. The local NAACP meets with the school board to discuss what actions to take after fans show up in blackface at a volleyball game at Whitewater High School.
It's clear that face painting is not allowed at any Fayette County school event, but what's not clear, according to Fayette NAACP President Kevin Pratt II, is how it's handled when it occurs. Pratt says some people indicated they didn't know blacking one's face was racially offensive.
It led me to believe that we do have an education issue across the country with people understanding cultural differences and diversity in general.
Pratt says the group will meet again to work on guidelines to keep such incidents from happening again. Lisa Nicholas, 95.5 WSB.
91 degrees in Atlanta. We do have some scattered rain showers around the metro area this afternoon.